little last minute editing there just to make sure everybody's good to go. How's it going, Browns fans? It is week, 14, 15 now? It's week 15. I should update this. We're going into week 15. We're still coming off of that magical, I guess, loss, you could say, against the Ratbirds, who now happen to have just about every one of their players, or 3 players that they've come down with COVID. So hopefully that they didn't leave that behind in Cleveland. But with me, as always, I've got Bonzo1273 over there, Mike Ristano, and we got my dad here as well. Mike, start off with you. How's it going? How are you feeling after we've had a couple moments to digest?
Yeah, so if you guys were watching the post game show the other night, you could tell I was speechless, and I'm usually not one, for loss of words, but it was rough going to bed. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think I might even told you this. I had like a dream about it. Like, I mean, a million things in the world and in my life, and I'm dreaming about the freaking Browns. But anyway, and it took me all of that next day, and then finally, I just had to get out of the funk, and I said, you know what? I'm done. I can't deal with it anymore. We took the L. Now we're off to New Jersey, and it's the Giants' time. So that's where I'm at. Obviously we'll talk about the game, but as far as my psyche, I'm already at MetLife.
Moving forward.
Yep.
Dad, what about you? How have you been kind of taking this loss? Have you forgotten about it? Have you moved on, or are you still in Funk Town? Dad, you might be muted. Mike, can you hear him?
No.
Dad, we can't hear you. So he's gonna have to get that squared away. In terms of me, like where I'm at right now, I personally am like, I'm personally still kind of in a funk. I really don't know. I mean,
Oh
like,
no.
it's just been like one of those things. I think it's probably also from the fact of like we ended up staying up so late that night,
Yeah.
and the sleep has been a problem. So I stayed up till like 2 a.m. and it was just like ridiculous, like getting shit on by all the Raiders fans who were taking some of my comments out of context and making up some wild stupid
Yeah.
comments about it, and then all that, which I understand. I mean, I look at it like, hey, look, they're Ravens fans. They want to crap all over us right now. That's fine. They have every right to, because they won. I still think they're a mostly toxic fan base, and they're rearing their ugly heads over and over. I don't think that the Browns. I don't think if we would have won, we would have like rubbed it in their face
No.
so much. Like I think that they're trying to do, and I think it's ultimately it's one of those things that it's a deep insecurity, I think, from the Ravens, that they know that they're kind of barely hanging on by a thread. I mean, when you go 14-2 one year and you expect to continue having that same level of success year over year, and then you've already lost more than double that amount of games, and who knows what's going to happen. I know they have a very light schedule, so they're probably going to win 10 games this year, because I mean, they probably have the easiest final 3 games
Oh yeah.
out of
Without
any
without a
team.
doubt. Yeah.
Right?
Oh, Dad,
Can
you're
you hear
back.
me now?
Yep, I can hear you now. Hold on a
We
second. Let me
got you.
let me pull you back up. Yeah, Dad, what are your thoughts? How are you feeling? After the game.
Yeah, mine the same as Mike R there. I was over it really the sort of the next morning. Got to talk to a lot of people, and they all thought it was the greatest Monday night game that they had ever witnessed. And the Browns played great. Too bad they lost. Got whoever had the ball last would have won the game, and that's sort of the way it turned out. Comebacks, great plays. So I was happy with the overall performance, I don't think we lost anybody, although I did hear that Sendeo had a concussion. So I'm wondering if that's hit the radar yet and what his status is. They're looking to get Ward back from what Stefanski said. Okay. Um, Miles didn't look like he hurt his arm all that bad.
Right.
Wills looked like he got back in the game after limping off there. So, if we come out relatively healthy, I woke up today, I'm fine. I played golf with one of my buddies who's a big Giants fan and trying to get a bet with him and, 4 points or whatever the odds are at this point. He was having none of it. He said, "You got to give me like 12 or 13." And he says, "My team is terrible." And I did look at the Giants, game on Sunday on tape. And, Daniel Jones, he may not play. I heard too
Yeah,
today
it's
that
looking like
he's
it's Colt. It's going to be Colt McCoy.
Yeah. So um, it's going to be, our defensive line against their offensive line, put pressure on them, make them make mistakes. But as far as I'm concerned, the Ravens game is over, done, history. We came out okay, and the Giants are the big game this Sunday night because that propels us into the playoffs, and that's the one we can't overlook. We got to do a good job, and then of course we want to whack.
So here's the thing though, and I kind of did the math. If I want to go back, I don't want to double check just so I'm sure. Okay, so there is still a chance that we miss the playoffs.
I know the scenario you're about to lay out.
The scenario of us missing the playoffs is the Ravens win all their games.
Yep.
Uh,
Which is going to happen. I mean, I can't imagine them losing to any of the three opponents they have left. But go on, sorry.
Correct, right. So the Dolphins win all of their games. And I don't know what the Dolphins and Browns tiebreaker is. I don't know what it is, but it was before it was they had the tiebreaker on us. I don't know what it is now. So
Lucky for us, they have the Chiefs this weekend.
right.
Yeah, so that should put them in a hole.
Right. So it's there. It's still a possibility. And then they have to, so they have 8 wins. They'd have to win out to get to 11. If we win against the Jets and Giants and lose to the Steelers, we're at 11, and I think they have the tiebreaker. I'm not 100% sure, but I think they do. The Colts and the Ravens can also get to, they would both have to get to 12 wins, so they have to win out. And no, I'm sorry, they're not 12 wins. They could get to 11. The Ravens could get to 11, right? So if they beat the Jaguars, Giants, and Bengals,
Yep.
they're at 11 wins. Okay, the Dolphins can get to 11 by beating the Patriots, Raiders, and Bills. That's a tall order. That's a very tall order. And it gives me comfort that they're not going to get to 11 because, I mean, if the Dolphins can get past the Patriots, Raiders, and Bills, they kind of deserve to get into the playoffs at this point. I'd give it to them. And then if the Colts get to 12 because they're at 9. So the Colts have to beat the Texans, Steelers, and Jags.
Right.
So basically, the Colts, Ravens, and Dolphins have to win out, and then we have to lose one of 3. That's the scenario,
Yep.
right?
I think we're good. And let me knock on wood because I don't want to jinx us, but I think we make it. Um, I'm really concerned about Sunday night. Do I think they're going to lose? No, but I just want to get there.
Right.
At the same time, I don't want to rush my life away, but I want to get there, and I want to get this taste out of my mouth from Monday.
Right.
And I mean, 2 weeks in a row going back to MetLife. I mean, the field is crummy, so I'd like to escape injury. The next 2 weeks, but I think they're both going to be W's. I think, and you guys may laugh at me, but I almost feel like Sunday's going to be a blowout, and against the Jets, they're going to make it interesting, and we'll still win by more than than two scores, but I think it'll be one of the. It's going to surprise us, I think. And and
Good.
then and then then I'm ready for the showdown against the Steelers in our house. I don't. I think they're trending one way, which is the wrong way, and we're trending the other way, which I believe is the right way. And I mean, only time will tell, but I think we do make it. I think we're at 82% right now. I think is
Yeah.
the official number.
Yeah. I think I think we're going to make it as well. It would just have to be this incredible shitstorm of a scenario,
Yeah,
which I mean, it's possible. I mean, we are the Cleveland Browns, so nothing's over till it's over, and almost even the next day we have to
yeah,
just confirm. But that is a tall order. I mean, the Dolphins specifically, very tough. Um, you know, there's a scenario where if we only get to 10 wins and the Raiders get to 10 wins by winning out, by beating the Chargers, Dolphins, and Broncos, that the Raiders would get in above us because they have the head to head. So I think that the main point is we have to take care of business against the Giants and the Jets. If we do that, we are we should be fine. And then there's always a situation at the end. I mean, I want to go into that Steelers game. I want them to come to Cleveland and us beat them, heads up like the Ravens. And we'll talk about that here in a second about that Ravens game.
yeah.
But I do want to see if we can take their best, which is right now a depleted team without Bush, without Dupree. So there's a depleted defense there. But you know what? So have we. We've been depleted as well. We didn't have Denzel Ward playing against the Ravens. We didn't have some of our main guys out there. Ronnie Harrison wasn't out there. You got to do what you got to do, and it's your job as an organization to put depth on the field and to make it happen. So we'll see. I mean, I just think it would be a shame if let's say that we clinch a playoff spot with 11 wins by beating the Giants and the Jets, and then comes the Steelers, and they just end up sitting their players, and then we end up beating them because they sit their players, and we get to 12 wins on a season,
Crazy.
which I mean way above what really I think any realistic expectation getting to 12 wins for most
Yeah.
people being who at least people being honest.
Yeah,
Yeah. Nobody predicted 12 wins for us. So that would be, icing on the cake.
Right.
Get in there for that first playoff game in a long time and hopefully do well. I don't think there's anybody going to blow us out in a playoff game. If Baker's playing the way he did the last 2 weeks and one pick on a bad throw, bad choice he made. He even admitted it in the news conference afterwards that the guy dropped down and then he backed off and he tried to get it in a very tight window and that guy made a good catch because he threw it really hard. He threw it like a bullet,
Yep.
and it was right on. And he would have beat the corner that the guy was that he was throwing at, but the other guy jumped in front. So
And we didn't quit after that too.
no,
no,
right.
and we usually do.
Absolutely. You wrote me a text and said, "Dad, I think it's over. We're not going to win this game." And I said, it's early. It was early third quarter, and as it turned out, it was good.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you talk about that pick, what I really like, and I mean we discuss it ad nauseum almost every week, and that's Stefanski and his approach and the way he's got these guys believing in the team and themselves, in the staff.
Right.
And even today in the presser, Stefanski came back and again, said that he felt that the play call that he provided to Baker on that interception, that he was adamant, like that was my fault. I need to do a better job of putting my players in position to make plays. And I think it's commendable because guys, they gravitate towards that. And if you saw in Baker's post game press conference, somebody asked him that question, and basically said, we asked coach that, and coach said, that was, it was on him. He needs to, and Baker he was adamant that absolutely not, that's on me. So it's just, for me, it's really refreshing to see, this. I mean, just the way that the coach. I mean, they're actually a coaching staff, and more specifically, a head coach and a quarterback. Like, they're actually, what a head coach and a quarterback, good ones, are supposed to be. And geez, I mean, we haven't seen that here. I can't even remember.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, it's nice to see. It's refreshing to see accountability, and ownership
Yeah.
on both sides, play calling and play execution. Um, you know, this is one of the things that we kind of talked about all season. We got we've been blessed with special teams execution pretty much all year, other than the first game, right? There's been an occasional missed field goal. Um, I guess occasional extra point. I have to even go back to see how many extra points Sparky's missed, but he's been very consistent. And then we had a very makeable field goal that was missed, and then an extra point that was missed. And it's one of those things. It could be the difference between us not making the playoffs, because he's executed enough to make the playoffs. But when you get into the playoffs, how
Yeah.
much more important each one of those kicks are, and to
He
have
knows
a
that more than anything, right?
yeah, I mean, you don't have the over a 16 game season, you have the luxury of, having missing an occasional kick. When it's one and done in the playoffs, every point matters, and you have to have faith that the guy you're putting out there is going to be able to execute that. Now, I think that from what I've seen from Parkey so far this season, I mean, I'm not willing to throw him out off of one game. I really am not. Do I think he's a Hall of Famer or or that? But he's not. He's not Zane Gonzalez. He's not Siebert.
Right.
I think he's been a lot more consistent than we've given him credit for, but he does on occasion have some accuracy issues. I think that's why he was let go from the Dolphins. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. Did
yeah.
anybody ask Stefanski about why they went for 2 points when they were down by six? Down by six. Why didn't kick the extra point? Was he afraid that Parkey wouldn't make it, or
I think
I just
it
didn't
was an
understand that
analytical
at
thing.
all.
Yeah, it was an analytical thing in terms of, then they were up by a full touchdown, or if I remember the score correctly there. I can't remember what he said, but it was something along the lines of the analytics said you go for two there.
That's a time to go. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, it just traditional thought would not be to go for two in that situation. I was saying I don't want to see us go for two, and then unless you're going to go for two and you have a play, like you have a play where you drilled it, you have it in practice, what's going to happen. And then what do? We call just a regular goal line play. He fires the ball. It luckily pops up, and Peoples-Jones happens to be in the right place at the right time and catches it. And nobody's going to second guess that because it technically executed properly. But
I
scary,
think
scary play nonetheless.
should have caught it. Maybe he threw it a little hard, but it was right in his hands. I mean, it wasn't like it was behind him or it was an inaccurate throw. I mean, he hit him. He just didn't catch it. It may have been a little bit too fast, too short a pass for that kind of velocity, but it went through his hands and right to our guys. But sometimes you win those, sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
Right, right. Yeah. You know, I think from a Raven standpoint, they didn't get our. I'm not making excuses here. This is the reality. This is the reality of what this game was. They did not get our best defense, and they put up 47 points on our non-best defense. If we have Denzel Ward in there, does Denzel Ward account for some points coming back? I think he does, because if you look at Stewart, who was in there, with the penalties that he got in those situations, that third downs that he was giving up penalties, he got burned and had to grab a guy. I mean, maybe saved a touchdown by that, but he didn't execute his job. And, for a guy like that, I don't blame him. I really don't, because, how do you step into Pro Bowler Denzel Ward is one of the best cornerbacks in the league? I mean, you're not going to have that same level of, you just don't have the same level of skill set on the field, right?
Right.
So I don't blame the kid, but my point is, I do think that with our best defense out there, I think we don't give up 47. Maybe we still give up 30, but 47 and really just 45 if we're being honest here. And I think that's going to be the thing about Joe Woods ultimately. If I'm Joe Woods going, hey guys, like put Belichick on this team, and he's not going to do a whole heck of a lot better than what I'm working with here. Like you put the best defensive minds ever, Buddy Ryan, throw him on this defense, and there's not a whole lot you're going to be able to do just because the talent's not there. This is one of the worst defenses that I've seen. We're a 9-4 team, and we've given up 368 points.
Yeah, but I go back to the game. Jackson beat us with his legs, and not on design bootlegs and handoffs and whatnot. He went back to pass, and he couldn't find anybody, and our guys went, either they gave up the edge and they went on the inside, or he just walked in down the middle. There was nobody spying on him. There was nobody containing him. His first thought wasn't to run. His first thought through most of the game was to pass it, and he didn't pass all that well. He only had 3 completions in the first half. He killed us with his legs because we couldn't contain him. And and we knew that going in, and the coaching staff knew that going in, and still he was able to scramble a couple of plays. He was so wide open. I mean, because our guys chose to go the wrong way and give up the edge and not protect the edge or stay home. So I mean, he's beatable. You just have to contain him, and you have to have a strategy that works and discipline with your guys that they're going to do the job. That they're not going to go for the sack every time. And like Miles does, he rushes the outside. He puts his arm under so that he can get leverage on the tackle, and then he puts his hand out trying to do a strip sack or trying to get the sack itself. But if you ran at him or you ran to the inside, you like Jackson does, I mean, he's going to kill you because they're not doing their job. They're not protecting the edge as a defensive end. They're going for the sack and the glory. And I think do a little bit too much of that.
I just want to give a quick shout out to a couple of guys in chat. Max Nikolenko's here. S. Zupon, B. Skrills is in the house. Kyle Duffield's here. Mr. Rollop 10, talking to Grub and Media. Stomping Peak. Jacob Gordon is here. He's just sitting here bored and watching TV. Who else? Anybody else in the house? Xander Hernandez. I think I saw him a little bit earlier as well. Welcome, guys. And we've got usually sometimes it's Freddie Kitchens, sometimes it's John Dorsey. Tonight happens to be Jarvis Landry. So welcome Jarvis to the chat. Appreciate you, my friend. Anyway, Mike, well, I didn't mean to interrupt what you're saying.
You're good. I was just going to piggyback off of what you were saying. Having to run Stewart out there, etc. I think, and I don't know about that play before the one to Marquise Brown when Lamar came back from cramps or whatever it was that he was doing, but I don't think that what I'm about to say would have affected that much, because I mean it was like they pinballed off each other, and that's how he sprung. But I think if you take the overall game and then you take the last minute or whatever it was, 57 seconds, I think if you have a healthy, or I'm not, I mean, I would take 75% Denzel Ward, but we'll just say a healthy Denzel Ward, and you've got him on the outside. Now all of a sudden, now you've got a very good corner as in Kevin Johnson now playing, on the inside and playing that nickel corner. So now you don't have to worry about, and Kevin Johnson. I mean, he's held his own since Denzel's out. I mean, there's no question about it. He's played good football, but the issue is that you take him out of that, that additional corner spot, and now you're relying on guys that really are depth players and really don't even belong on the field, so to speak. Special teams, sure. On the defensive side of the ball, I don't think so. So I think going forward, if in fact Denzel is playing this week, which it looks like, he may, obviously that's gonna help us big time. And I really think, and I think Stefanski alluded to it in his presser today. I think that we're going to see Tedrick Thompson this weekend, and I am excited to see what somebody else can do in Sendejo's spot,
Mhm.
and I think that's really you know, I mean, if you think about, I mean, Redwine can't get on the field,
Yeah.
so what a wasted draft pick that was. I mean, for you to be a young guy and a fast young guy, and you can't unseat Sendejo, and then on top of that, it looks like you're gonna stay on the bench to a guy that was picked up, off the street 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
Man,
what did that say?
yeah, I mean that says a lot about the state of our secondary in terms of quality that we have back there. But
Yeah, I
what are
mean
you
it's
gonna do?
it's a guy that we drafted in 2019, round 4, pick 119 overall.
Yep.
I mean, this is a guy. If you're a fourth round pick it's no guarantee you make the team at a fourth round pick, right? But it's
Yep.
pretty likely that you're expected to make the team. I mean, they evaluate you from a talent standpoint and determine that, hey, with the 119th pick, and I'd have to look back to like see what number pick that was from that 2019 year. So I don't remember if we had too many. I think that was the year where Greedy came out, right? And I'm just looking at that and I'm like, come on, we're just waiting for this guy to turn into something. Now he when he does get on the field, he had some flashes. He had that one interception against the
Right.
Colts, which is great. But you're right, Mike. I mean, for the fact that he can't beat out Sendejo is borderline tragic.
Yeah. One of the best things that could have happened to us is, and I think you guys would agree, is Alonzo Highsmith decided he wanted to go somewhere else because his throw him a bone picks, Chad Thomas and Sheldrick Redwine. I mean, one worse than the other. So I'm just glad that we cut that Miami affiliation, if you will, out, because it's just not
Yeah, they haven't. They
two
haven't.
wasted picks.
They have certainly not, lived up to what we honestly needed them to be. And that's really what we comes down to next year. Like to we have to be able to add depth and replace in these critical positions, or we just can't give up 30 plus points week in and week out and expect to win 12 games. We're getting very lucky this year with a couple
Right.
moments where we had some special teams execution and some really good offense. But imagine if we've had previous offenses. I mean, if you look at the other NFL teams that are out here right now, I mean, the Dolphins. I want to say the Dolphins gave up like two in the 200s of points, like 245 or something. Yeah, Miami Dolphins have given up 245 points. They're 8-5. We've given up 368. That is one of the worst in the league. To put it again in context, the Bengals are 2-10 and they've given up 338. Again, we've given up 368. Other teams that are out there, the Chargers, 4-9. They've given up 362. We've given up 368. So again, like our offense is keeping us alive, and that's great. But
Yeah,
when it comes down,
we knew it. Linebacker, corners, even defensive line. We knew we have holes, and going into the season, and when we got to where we were, 9-3, everybody's saying, "Well, we beat some not average teams, less than average teams." Um, but you're right, we're giving up too many points. Quality teams will just Kansas City will just kill us. Buffalo will just kill us unless we get some more strength on that defense. And I think they know it. They're doing the best they can with the talent that's there. And so be it. I mean, that's just the way it is. We knew it going in. It shouldn't come as any surprise.
yep,
And deal with it. And thank God we're 9-4.
Here's a fun fact for you, Mike. You ready for this?
yeah,
Tedrick Thompson. Now, two different drafts, 2017 as opposed to 2019. But anyway, Tedrick Thompson, 2017, fourth round pick 111. Sheldrick Redwine, 2019 draft, fourth round, 119th pick.
right. Well, I mean,
Interesting.
again, it goes to show that the draft is just not an exact science. People can talk themselves into certain players being better or having a higher ceiling than they actually
Speaking of
do.
which, wait till we get to your favorite segment.
Oh yeah, the PFF scores.
Oh,
Yeah, we'll dig into the
it's, it,
PFF scores here in a little bit.
it's going to be a fun one.
Um, you know, it's funny because they're talking about it on Twitter because that J.K. Dobbins came out and was essentially celebrating the concussion that he gave to Sendejo, and people were sitting out there being like, we Browns fans rag on Sendejo all year, but if somebody else who's not a Browns fan or a Browns player comes after one of our players, we'll defend them to the death. And for Sendejo, and I have to, I honestly will take this as kind of a personal challenge for myself as well, because I'm emotional, and it upsets me when our players don't execute and don't get to that expectation that we're really hoping for this year. And I just would have hated it if we're one limited skilled free safety away from winning games and losing games. I mean, it's frustrating, but these guys they're Browns. They're on the Browns right now. They are our players. And I got to tell you, over the last couple games, even though yes, obviously from the eyeballs, like Sendejo still is struggling out there, but I can tell you that the guy plays with a ton of heart. And
Absolutely.
for him to have stepped up and taken on Dobbins like that, I mean, he went out there and it looked like he got knocked out on that play, like knocked out cold on that play. For him to have sacrificed his body, I mean, last week as well, having a cut nose and everything, like he might have broke his nose, who knows? But the guy's been playing with a lot of heart. He was never brought in to be a starter. He's a 33-year-old guy with limited skills, asked to come in and be a depth type guy, maybe special teams, who knows? But then he was thrust into that role because our younger players didn't get themselves ready to step up and take the role, right? And so he's done the best he can, and that's all it is. He even had some big plays. He had at least one interception that was overturned because of a penalty that had nothing to do with him. So I'm going to take it as a personal challenge to be try to be a lot less critical of the Browns players. However, I will tell you that I think we have the right as Browns fans to be critical of the performance that we see. But I'm going to take it as just my own personal challenge, just to keep it more towards what the reality of the situation is. If it was, OBJ and Jarvis and Nick Chubb and Baker and Kareem Hunt, those guys, and Miles, right? Those are the guys that I think when they underperform, it drastically hurts us, right? When a guy like Sendejo underperforms, or Mac Wilson or Taki, like, it's not the end of the world. Like they're a cog in the wheel. The guys who need to perform are the guys that are getting paid, or the guys who are drafted really really high. So that's what I'll kind of stay on that. My final thoughts again on the Ravens game. Um, I think that I think that uh, I think that Lamar Jackson is going to be very hard to beat for a very long time. There's not a The only way that you can really beat him is the way that we did it when we were in Baltimore last year, where we got up by so much that they couldn't run, because if they did, they were making it even harder for them to get back into the game. To make him pass, he missed two wide open passes, and even Brian Greasy even called him out. He's like, an NFL quarterback has to make those passes, and
Yeah.
he didn't, and it wasn't even close to them. And if we actually had a competent secondary and had somebody playing center field, we probably could have been able to pick those off and really turn it around. So, you know, was it unfair of me to say he's not a quarterback? Probably. But I look at it like this: he's the enemy. Just like Ben Roethlisberger's the enemy, just like Joe Burrow's the enemy. These are guys that are in our division that we play against. I'm not talking about, I'm talking about them on the field, not off the field. They might be the greatest human being off the field, although I won't ever say that Ben Roethlisberger. I think he's pretty much made his
Yeah.
bed. But in terms of Lamar Jackson, his the way that he acts on the field, when he scored the touchdown, threw the ball against the wall, and did all that kind of stuff, like it's not it has nothing to do with anything other than he's a guy on the field that is beating my Browns. And for that
Yep.
point and that point alone, I do not like you and I never will. And there's not a single player on any other team in the AFC North that I am a fan of. Not a single player. So that is that. And you know what? I still to this day think that having a gimmick of sorts, right, is eventually going to run out. RG3 got injured. Michael Vick got injured. Randall Cunningham, even though Randall Cunningham was a much, much better quarterback, got
Yeah.
got injured. And I'm
Even
not,
Vic.
yeah, and Vick. And all of these guys got injured, right? And it's just because of their style of play of
Just takes
running the
one.
ball.
Yeah, one
Yeah.
play. I mean, that's to go against these big safeties and these big linebackers and defensive guys who put the weight on you when you fall. I mean, it just
Look at
takes one play,
McSorley. McSorley's not even a running quarterback, and he went down with a leg injury,
Yeah.
right?
right?
Well, of his own making, the slippery field got him. He went back, he made a cut, then he tried to recoup,
Yeah,
and the turf went out. It was slippery, went out, and his knee went down, and you could tell it wasn't good. Um, you know, I don't know if what's his name Jackson would have came out if he had stayed in the game because he was not hurt that bad. I
Yeah.
don't know if they brought him out just because, hey, you got to go out because we got no quarterback. Um,
probably was why.
Yeah.
he
I
seemed
thought.
pretty good when he came out. Didn't look like he was really limping with cramps or anything. I think maybe they hooked him up to an IV and they gave him, a quick shot to hydrate him a little bit.
Yeah,
But he didn't look any worse to wear in the last two drives that he had the ball, including the three passes he made on the winning field goal drive. I mean, he made it look easy.
Yeah. And to your point, in terms of, I mean, you can. I think that a lot of times Lamar's passing stats are a little skewed, and I say that because you know I believe his completion percentage is pretty decent, and he always has those nice quarterback ratings. But it's because of the threat of his legs that it's. I mean, it's very hard to you could sit there and you could say, why is that guy sucking up? Why isn't he in contain? What I mean, we played football. I understand what you see somebody approaching and you're like, for that split second you focus, and then you're like, wait a second, and then by the time wait a second happened, Marquise Brown is behind you, and he's running for a touchdown. So
Yeah.
I don't think anybody besides Colin Coward believes that Lamar is a true passer per se in the realm of you know your Baker Mayfield, your Patrick Mahomes, your Russell Wilson, etc.
right.
So you know the reality is, if you take his legs away, then that's it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and eventually, just by age, and the Ravens know this. I mean, it's not a formula that's set up for you know 8 years, 10 years. It usually is a small window, and you know the competition in the AFC and of course the AFC North, is only getting better. So if in my personal opinion, if they don't strike soon, that's not going to be
Yeah.
a sustainable thing,
Here's the
in
thing.
my opinion.
Lamar Jackson is 23 years old.
Yep.
So they're getting when it comes to like pure athletic ability, you're peaking between 23 and like 25. That's it. That's where you're the biggest, fastest, strongest. You may not be the most experienced, but he's already got now like 2.5 years of experience. So it's not like he's, and he's got 2 playoff games. So, but you're not going to see like the Tom Brady, like the 42-year-old Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
You're gonna see Lamar as soon as he loses that step. That's it, because you, like Mike, you said, like he is 95% scary to against the run,
Yeah.
but that 95% opens up the pass, and he's not stepping up and dropping back into the pass, scanning the field and firing balls. He's got, I mean, the Ravens, I mean, I've watched a lot of Ravens games this year. Their offense is 3 plays. And even Lamar Jackson even called out the offensive coordinator for doing this. Their offense is 3 plays. They have a guy that goes in motion, and then they have a running back and a fullback, and they either hand it off to the running back, he follows the guy in motion and the fullback, or they fake it like that, and then Lamar follows the guy in motion, the fullback, and the halfback. So that's the second way. Or the third thing is Lamar, it's a run pass option where Lamar fakes it to the running back, freezes the linebackers for a second, and steps back to pass. And if nothing's open within a second or two, he just waits for the pocket to break down, slips through it, and runs for 27 yards. That's their whole offense. And right now, it's proving to be extremely difficult to beat. Just like when RG3 was doing it his rookie year, he was almost impossible to beat, because you're adding that element that you have to account for. And without Denzel Ward on the field, we do not have another player even anywhere near as fast as they have to be to track him down.
No.
Maybe Miles, but not in a straight shot.
No, I agree. And then you look at the linebackers, and there's a few that are improving, but if you lose gap integrity against Lamar Jackson, it's over. And I mean, how many times did we see it the other night? It just, you have to be cognizant of where what gap you're filling, and if you go rogue, he's gonna run all over you, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah, if you remember the one drive where it was one of the first drives that they had, and they went 3-and-out, and it was because I have to go back and look at it, but we contained Lamar. So when the guys recovered, and the pocket, instead of pushing for it from a bunch of different angles and opening up big wide gaps, like my dad was saying, where he slips around Miles or something like that, we contained and slowly just pushed and collapsed the pocket on top of him. It's just so hard to do that consistently against that dude. And it's a frustrating thing to watch, because it's so scary.
Yeah, we may see him again, and how demoralizing that will be if we lose 3, games to Baltimore in one season, especially the last one if it's a playoff game. He's a different quarterback than Mahomes and Josh Allen. I mean, they can run too, and they do when they have to. And either to facilitate the pass or just to get the first down. I mean, they're
Yeah.
very good runners, whereas Jackson, but yet excellent passers too. They got both going for him. Whereas Jackson, he's I don't think he's that good of a passer. Look how many he missed, 2 or 3 wide open guys that they would have scored 60 points on us if they had caught some of those passes, because our guys weren't even in the same picture when he
Yeah.
over that one guy. Uh, so the guys, Jackson, I think we can handle in the future or whatever. We come up with a little bit better defense. How we're going to stop a Josh Allen and a Patrick Mahomes, I don't know. That's going to be a
Nobody.
monumental.
Nobody can stop Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes, I had a conversation with a guy I work with today. He was consoling me about the loss and everything like that. And I was like, look, here's the reality. Um, you know, it's all fun and games in the regular season, and our Super Bowl is probably just to get to the playoffs, right? But
Right?
nobody's beating the Chiefs. They are so good. They're the best coaching staff in the league, hands down. They've got the best quarterback. They've got a perfectly adequate defense, and they've got, I've said it before. I will say it again. Pat Mahomes is the greatest quarterback. He will go down in history as the greatest quarterback to ever play the game. I could see him winning 5 Super Bowls in a row. I mean, I've never seen a guy do what Pat Mahomes can do. And and I mean, dude, he got a dislocated kneecap last year, came back and missed like 2 games or something ridiculous, came back and then won the damn Super Bowl. Like, he is a special guy, and that, yes, the Raiders beat him this year. I get it, but it's an in-division game. There are flukes that happen from time to time, but there's 12 other games they played that they won,
He
and
threw three picks against Miami, and he still won the game
Yeah.
going away.
in
So
against an 8-4 team or whatever they were. I mean, yeah. I mean, they are just they're just an incredible team. But looking at the playoff picture, as it stands right now, and if all, if everything remains the same, we will most likely be the 6th seed in the playoffs, because you have to assume that the Ravens are going to get to 11, right? They have it's just the path has been clad in gold for them, right? To end up with 11 wins, by winning the last 3. If we get to 11, right? So then they jump ahead of us because of the head-to-head. So in that scenario, we'd be looking at the Bills or the Bills or whoever wins the AFC South between the Titans and Colts. Which team do I want? I want the Titans or Colts, because we've proven we can. Are we going to beat them twice in the same year? They're probably thinking the same thing, like us and the Ravens. Or we don't want to lose to them 3 times. Well, they don't want to lose to us twice. But at least we've already shown up and said we can beat you guys. We beat Tennessee in Tennessee. We beat the Colts at home. It's looking like it's probably going to be Tennessee who's going to win that division, and we can go back to Tennessee and win another game. I'm fairly confident in that. But who knows? I mean, this is all uncharted territory for us as Browns fans. And you know what? Getting into the playoffs, for me, I don't care if we lose by 100 points. Just getting there and us playing a playoff game for another time in all of our lifetimes is it's like Halley's Comet. It's like it happens just once every 100 or so years we get into the playoffs, it seems. Right.
we have to get in the playoffs and play a team that will not blow us out early, like Kansas City has the capability of doing. If we get behind by 14 points, we have to change our game plan. We can't run Chubb and Hunt as many times in the second half, because our catch-up mode is underway. So teams like Buffalo and Kansas City present at this stage of our team development, present almost a monumental task for us to beat them. You have to have long drives and keep their offense off the field in order to play 4 corners like you do in basketball keep a low score so that you have a shot at the end. And breaks can go your way. You can catch an interception or a fumble or whatever. But those two teams scare me on the in the AFC, and there's obviously a couple of teams in the NFC too that have very capable quarterbacks that can put you behind very quickly or catch up very quickly. So we just have to say, hey, guys, I'm going to go. I had a very early morning and I need to recharge the battery. So I will turn it to you, Mike and Mike, and take it from here. I'll maybe watch a little bit and enjoy the chat. And go Brownies. All right. Go Brownies. See you Sunday.
All right, Dad. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
Okay.
We will we'll see you on the pregame and the postgame show on Sunday. So it'll be late games, but I'll keep everybody posted on that. Appreciate you coming on, Dad.
Okay.
See you,
Take
Dan.
care, Mike. Bye bye.
See you, Dad.
Hey, you know what? You know what? Perfect segue. There's a reason why I'm wearing this hat tonight. Because I think that we have the dangerous Baker Mayfield from his rookie year back, but more so better coached, a better student of the game. And I went back and I didn't watch the whole film, but I watched a lot of it. And I mean, he's reading and reacting. And I mean, and I don't want to jinx anything, let me knock on wood, but the past couple of weeks, I mean, the accuracy, since he missed those two guys in the Bryant and Hooper, I think it was,
Mhm.
on those obvious touchdowns a couple of weeks ago. I mean, he's been throwing ropes, and they are on target. So, and where I was going with that is if this is the Baker that is here to stay, I don't have a problem going toe to toe with and getting into a shootout with the Bills or the Chiefs or even with our defense. If this is the Baker and the offense and the play calling from Stefanski, I got to tell you, let's do it. Let's get into a shootout. I'd like to see how it ends. I mean, we just got into one, and I mean, it wasn't so much of a shootout on the Ravens side, but regardless, they scored a lot of points, and we had to score a lot as well. And he was just slinging the rock. So
Yeah, I think there's no reason to not think that this is going to be the Baker. This is the Baker we were promised. This is the Baker that we drafted with the first overall pick. This isn't the Todd Monken and Freddie Kitchens Baker Mayfield. This is this is the real deal that we got with him. It didn't make sense what he gave us last year. I think a lot of people lost a little faith in him because of that, because they hadn't watched him in college. They didn't really know a whole lot about him. And then you've got the previous history with all the Browns quarterbacks and just very quickly wanting to crap on him and be like, you know what, throw in Case Keenum. He's 33 years old. What's the worst he can do? And arguably 2020 Case Keenum is better than 2019 Baker Mayfield was. So I understand the mentality where people are at. But if anybody's out there saying that, it's that they don't think that Baker has proven it this year, they're absolutely crazy. This is our guy. We have our quarterback. Is he the greatest quarterback? Does he have, every physical tool, that you can think of? No. I mean, there's one quarterback in the league who's got everything you can ask for, and that's Pat Mahomes.
yeah.
I can go down the list. Washington, you have old Alex Smith or Dwayne Haskins, who hasn't proven it yet. Giants, Daniel Jones, flashes here and there. He hasn't proven it yet. He's having a hard time staying healthy. Eagles, Carson Wentz, Jalen Hurts. Carson Wentz looks like he's headed out. Jalen Hurts, possibly his team to lose at this point. Who the heck knows? Cowboys, Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott I like a lot. I think Dak Prescott is kind of the best of everything, but he throws interceptions at bad times and loses games. Jared Goff has a lot to offer as well, from terms of size, arm strength, all that stuff. So I like him. He's up there really high. Russell Wilson. I mean, I could go through the whole list. Every one I can nitpick and find certain things about that are problematic. But then you've got Baker, who with it's I don't think, and I'm trying and I'll ask you this, Mike. Has there been a quarterback ever that has done this much with this little in terms of physical gifts? Like, can you think of another quarterback that has, because you can't from a rookie standpoint, because he threw the most touchdowns ever as a rookie. Can you last year? Absolutely. He looked very pedestrian last year. But coming back to this year, can you think of another quarterback who has done more with what Baker Mayfield has in terms of just physical gifts and skills?
Yeah, I mean, if you go, he's just a different type of a different breed, if you will. And the reason why I say that is when he's on, and if we go back to his rookie year, he showcased what I'm about to say, and he's doing it again. And that was the ability to use his talents to play quarterback. And what I mean by that is what he lacks in height, he doesn't lack in arm strength and touch and accuracy. And if you go back to his rookie year, and it's something that we all loved, and it started coming right at me into the dog pound against the Jets on that Thursday night. And I'm not saying the Jet defense was was a stalwart, but by any stretch of the imagination, but he he is the kind of guy that can drop back, scan the field when he's comfortable, find an open guy, and deliver it where it needs to be on time in the right spot where only his guy can get it. Last year, we that just disappeared, and whether that was his lack of focus and coupled with the the nightmare coaches that he was saddled with, we'll never know. But as you and I on this show many a time, we this year, we got a hungover version of 2019 Baker Mayfield, and we were like, okay, well, wait a second, this is not going to get better. This, his rookie year was an apparition, and here we are. Shit, what are we going to do? And then as he's gotten comfortable in the offense, and he's gotten comfortable with Stefanski, now it's like, wait a second, we're starting to see those, little elaborate,
Yep.
you know, fakes on handoffs, or,
Yep.
he's back to that cocky, and not in a bad way. And maybe cocky is not the right word, but confident. He's oozing that confidence that made him so successful at Oklahoma and made him the number one draft pick. And I think we're seeing that. And to answer your question, no, I don't think so. And then on top of that, what the argument's been going on Twitter, are we better without OBJ? Are we not better with? And my stance. I think we're absolutely better with OBJ. But I think with this now, Baker Mayfield wasn't ready for OBJ. Last year's Baker Mayfield wasn't ready for OBJ. I think 2021 Baker Mayfield will be ready for OBJ, because he will have his swagger back as we've seen so far, and he believes in himself. He's playing quarterback back to the way that he should be and has always played it. And now all you're doing is you're plugging Odell in next year, and you're just adding a weapon. And Odell at that point understands that, hey, wait a second, this dude's pretty good, and he has to play his game. And now all of a sudden, Baker's not forcing it to OBJ. He's looking for an open guy, and if OBJ is still the guy that he is, Baker will find him. So
Yeah.
that was sort of the long-winded answer on that, but
No,
That's sort of how I feel on that one.
I agree with you too. I think that, um, you know, I think that there's things that you have to take in consideration
Hmm.
when you bring in a celebrity, a superstar celebrity type guy like Odell,
Yeah.
and then you put on top of it that his best friend in the world is on the team too, you know, and so you put that on there, and Odell is a guy that I think I don't know if it comes in his nature to be like a rah rah, get everybody going and be everybody's best friend. He's I don't know if he's like socially comfortable with that role.
Yeah.
His personality doesn't seem like that. He I don't think he minds being looked at and being the center of attention, but I don't think he's a like he's I don't think he's ever going to be voted like team captain, you
Yeah.
know? And and I think that with Baker, Baker Mayfield's a guy who essentially is just what 2 years out of college. A year, I'm sorry, 1 year out of college when we get Odell Beckham, a guy
Yep.
that is, Mr. Nike, Mr. New York, with the catch, with the superstar, the celebrity, and all that stuff. He comes, and Baker's like, he's just as starstruck as we are, and you want to
Yeah.
feed him the ball. His first pass against Tennessee last year, if you can remember that was almost intercepted, was basically telegraphed. I mean, he wanted to throw that ball to Odell Beckham for his first pass right out of the gate to be like, look what I can do. And yeah, I'm throwing it to Odell Beckham. And it was almost picked off. I mean, it was almost like as bad as like the first Tim Couchcat pass. We're like, here we go, here we go, here we go. What interception first play?
Right.
It was nearly in that situation. And I think you absolutely like hit the nail on the head that he just wasn't ready. I think that although he had a great rookie year, lots of players have good rookie years, and almost like flash in the pan. Like in the NFL, it is about consistency, especially at that quarterback position. In his rookie year, although he had the 27 touchdowns, he had 14 interceptions, and then he followed it up with a sophomore season where he went down, way down in terms, not way down, but I mean 5 less touchdowns and 7 more interceptions and a 6-10 record coming off of a 6-7, so that we digressed quite a bit. Now, again, not all of that's his fault. It's not his fault that Myles Garrett happened to, our best defensive player in like, possibly 40 years decides to swing a helmet at a guy and get suspended. So, and that hurts. The offenses feed off defenses, and when they get you the ball back, are they getting you the ball back? Are they pinning him down with a 3 and out? Where you get the ball back on your 35, 40-yard line, or are they punting it down to your 2-yard line? There's a lot of those things that come into play. But if you look, I think the key stats to look at with Baker in his development is Baker, a couple things. Turnovers is one. He's thrown 8 interceptions this year. And if you were looking at from September through October, it was 1, 2, 4, 6, 7 interceptions in September and October. 7. And we're like, oh crap. Here we go. We're going to have this 20 plus interception Baker Mayfield again. You and I are going back and forth being like, I don't know, man. We really want him to be the guy, but is he the guy? And I don't know. He's frustrating plays here and there. But, I mean, he's thrown 1 interception since October. 1. And, his QBR is the highest it's ever been. His QBR was 53 and then 51. This year it's 72. His QB rating was a 93 his rookie year, a 78 his second year, and he's up to a 96.6 this year. So all intents and purposes, he's got 23 touchdowns. I don't see a reason why he can't get to 30 touchdowns against the Giants, Jets, and Steelers, right? He throws 3 touchdowns a game. No, two touchdowns a game, 2, 4, 6, and then you throw one more. I mean, I think Baker Mayfield can do that against these guys. I think he's going to get into the 30s. So I think that the whole narrative is gone. It should be end. It should just let's Give him his money. Let's lock him down
Yeah,
and move on to fixing the defense.
yeah, I agree. I think it's a done deal. They extend him. I mean, unless there was a catastrophe, but I obviously I don't see that happening. He's going to be the guy. He's proven it. He's proven it week by week. I mean, and really the most impressive thing is, and it's very cliche, but you know every week you want to get better. Whether it be on the field or in the film room or in the weight room, whatever. And we can honestly say, I mean, because we've documented on this show, Wednesday after Wednesday. I mean, the improvement in all facets is undeniable. So there's no reason, why he should take a step back at this point. I think that we're just going to start getting better and better and better. And dare I say, Stefanski and Baker are, 2020 and beyond's version of Sean Payton and Drew Brees. Is it early to say that? Absolutely, but there's a lot of similarities.
I mean, I know we've talked about this a lot. I was really hesitant about another coach learning on the job and all of that. But now that we've all gotten to know Kevin Stefanski a little bit better, we've seen him in pressure situations. We've seen him reacting to the press. He's gotten us 9 wins so far in his first year, and is most likely going to get to 11, possibly 12. And he's made Baker better. Now, is Baker going to throw 40 touchdowns at any point in his career? Who knows? I mean, it early on, I never thought that it didn't look like Drew Brees was gonna. It didn't look like Tom Brady was gonna.
Yeah.
These are some guys. There aren't a whole lot of guys that come out and just firing, like your Pat Mahomes. It just doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So it is. I don't know how to say it. It's like you're right. I think that we could be looking at a team that we could see potentially for 15 years.
Yeah. Easy.
Who knows? I mean,
And
again, I think with Baker, the same thing about Baker, I'll say about Lamar. When you have a guy that are, there's a reason why Tom Brady, Philip Rivers, those guys can go as long as they've gone for the most part, Drew Brees being the exception. It's because Aaron Rodgers as well, they've got size. So that they can see over the big guys. Ben Roethlisberger is a perfect example of it. I mean, he's out there playing backyard football. I mean, he is just literally going back there and playing backyard football. He's not moving at all. He's a slug back there,
yeah.
but he can do that because of it. When Baker Mayfield becomes a slug, if that ever happens to him, so it's kind of happened to him last year a little bit, but if it ever really happens to him, like a Ben Roethlisberger, it ain't going to be good.
Yeah.
So that's my point on him, but hopefully we have him for a very long time.
I have a question for you, and I have a question for the chat as well, and only because, and the only reason I'm bringing this up is I've seen all over the place, how is this possible, et cetera, et cetera. So, do you guys think that it was too soon after last year's incident, if you will, to nominate Miles for the Walter Payton Man of the Year? Exemplary performance on the field and off the field. Do you think the criticism is warranted, or do you think no? One isolated incident. Other than that, he's a exemplary person on the field as well. I mean, we know his work that he does off the field,
Mm-hmm.
not only in the Cleveland community but abroad. I mean, you could arguably say there's not many other players in the NFL that do more than him.
Well, I can answer that, and I think that I'm a big fan of second chances in life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big fan of people growing and learning from mistakes. You know, they said on in the game yesterday that Miles is like, look, one incident, one play, one ugly moment in time is not doesn't define me as a human being. And I think he's right. I mean, and there have been countless people who have
Mhm.
had really bad, ugly situations and have come back from it. And ultimately, it comes down to what's in your heart, right? I mean, that's it. Are you a good person? Are you a bad person? And I don't think by any way, shape, or form I've ever seen Miles Garrett is one of the nicest guys. I remember another thing. The only one of the few times that Browns players have actually retweeted me was when I saw on Facebook that a kid was posting on a bunch of channels that he went into the Apple store last year and his phone broke
Yeah, I
and
remember that.
he was sitting there just in tears, because they were telling him that he had to buy a new one. He didn't have the money to buy one, and he's sitting there and he's just in horrible, horrible condition. And Miles Garrett, this big, giant dude, out of nowhere, just is like, "I'll pay for it."
Yeah.
And that moment changed it. It wasn't just like, "Hey man, thank you, I really appreciate it." That changed that kid's life forever. That moment changed that kid's life. He will never forget that moment. That a couple things. A, Miles Garrett. B, what it physically did for him. So now he has a phone where he can actually use it again,
Yeah.
right? And
Unless
then
he
the other,
dropped it.
right, unless he
No,
dropped
I'm
it.
just kidding.
Um, and then, but I think the other thing too is I think it was an example of charity, and
Yeah.
it was almost like a good Samaritan kind of level of charity that that Miles did, and uh, and I think that probably will impact him later on because when you're just young and out of college, you don't have money, very rarely, right? But at some point, that kid might have it, and then he might be able to pay it forward in some way as well, and he'll probably think back to what Miles did for him. I know that's what I do a lot of times when I think about you know giving to charity or doing things for charity or whatever, even doing the giveaways we do on the show.
Yeah.
I think about it. I'm like, you know what? How great it is to be able to give back to people and help them. And I think Miles has. I think that's who he is. I think the Apple Store Miles Garrett is who Miles Garrett truly is. The guy on the field. I really. I really don't know. And if I ever got a chance, I mean, I'm never going to get a chance probably to sit down and interview him. And if I did,
Yeah,
he probably
you
wouldn't
never
want to.
know.
He probably
Don't ever
wouldn't
say
want to
never.
talk about it, or maybe even give me an honest answer. But I would love to know, like, he went. You don't go from 0 to 1,000 on your temper scale
Yeah.
with one play, maybe even with one game. Maybe it was something that was building up. And I've gone back and I've tried to think about this quite a bit last year. And another event that I'm sure you remember
Hmm.
that probably, again, I don't know, it might have played in somewhere along there. Do you remember when Miles, when there was somebody in Cleveland who stopped him at like a
Yep.
traffic light and asked for a picture, and then the guy punched him?
Yep. I remember that.
And it's like, again, Miles, you're a kid, you're a superstar, you've got wealth and fame, and there are just scumbag people out there because that kid who punched him was hoping that he would punch back
Yep.
because then that guy becomes a millionaire instantly, and he didn't, and it's like micro moments like that. Miles is a kid from Texas. He's all the way up in Cleveland, right? It's like there are things, and who knows if he might not have a best friend on the team. Maybe he misses his family. Maybe he had a bad situation with his girlfriend. Whatever the series of events that led up to that moment
Yeah.
right there was probably more than just what was said on the field or what happened in that moment. So long-winded answer, but
Yeah.
I
I was just curious because I know I've seen it on, you know, Facebook or Twitter, fans of other teams. And I agree with you. Like that was an isolated incident, and it doesn't define him. But on the flip side, being playing devil's advocate, I could see how you know, somebody from, I don't know, Green Bay, let's say, right in the middle of nowhere, or another NFL town, what have you, where they're not as entrenched in the players of opposite teams like we are with Miles, and so the only thing they think of when they hear exemplary performance on the field and off the field, and the first thing that comes to their mind is, well, wait a second. And
Yeah,
then
helmet
at the
guy.
same time, it's and I think that the criticism that I've heard would be slashed in half had that just been, and I think the penalty too to Miles, I think would have been slashed in half as well. If that was just an ordinary, the
Fight.
shitty Browns on Sunday at 1 o'clock, as opposed
Sure.
to Thursday against the Steelers in front of the country.
The whole
But
world.
I just wanted to, I don't want to, I don't want us to belabor, but I was curious about what you
Yeah.
thought of that and what everybody
I
thought of
mean,
that in the chat.
I'm a huge fan of Miles Garrett, um,
Yeah, love him.
on and off the field. I think, again, I'm a big fan of every Brown. I don't care if you're a practice squad guy. I don't care if you're a Browns alumni.
Yep.
I've got mostly overwhelmingly good memories of every player we've had. So with an exception of maybe like Johnny or something. I mean, there's few players that irk me who used to be Browns, unless you leave and shit on us like Isaiah Crowell did.
And
Like,
man, Johnny really duped us too.
yeah.
As that,
Did you see his thing that they came out? That was, I was on Twitter, I think, where he was
yeah.
saying like, that his biggest regret is wasting 2 years of Joe Thomas's career.
Yep, I did see that. And you
You
know
know,
what? He should be.
you know what? Here's the thing. I thought about that, and I was sitting there. I'm like, shut the hell up, dude. You should be regretful that you wasted your entire
Yeah,
your
that's
career.
true.
Don't talk to me about Joe Thomas. Joe Thomas had bad quarterbacks basically, even when Joe Thomas talks about it, the only quarterback that was like that was even somewhat decent was Derek Anderson. And he had that one magical year, and they didn't even make the playoffs, and it was, it sucked. But don't be, don't crawl onto that excuse train of like, well, I wasted his time. You wasted your own. You should be embarrassed about how your
Yeah.
actions, being a number one pick, coming to an organization that was struggling, and that's another thing to say about Baker. Baker, had a series of questionable decisions when he was in college,
Yeah.
right? Maybe even some questionable decisions since he's been from since he's left college
Yeah.
allegedly. And but I will say that at least he's taken his job seriously as a
Yes.
player. And Johnny, my dad is still a giant Johnny Manziel fan. My dad is begging for. We talk about Johnny at least once every year. So, well, this new league's starting. Maybe Johnny will show enough to have some player come and get him. Or the Cowboys have lost all the quarterbacks. Why not just throw Johnny in there? And it is it goes well beyond that. But in terms of going back to Miles,
Hmm.
a couple things. One, I think he did redeem himself. I think he's been very mature. I don't
Yep.
think that one moment has defined him. The other thing is, I mean, honestly, it's an award. It's
Right.
it's a subjective award. Um,
I'd love
I
for him to win it
really
though, so we
don't
could see
care
everybody
about.
freak out.
Oh, if he won the whole thing,
Oh, that'd be great. I don't think there's a chance in the world, but
right, right.
that would be amazing.
No, I mean he could cure COVID and
Yeah,
still
no.
not get it.
You
Let's
know,
yeah, go ahead.
again, no, no, again.
I was gonna say like I want to get to the PFFs, but I want you to, if you have another thought too, I want to
Oh
hear
yeah,
it.
no, we could definitely hit the PFF. You know what I was gonna say? Um, and actually, let me do something here while we're yeah. So where I was going, and well, I was going to start it with one thing, and then I was going to get into this next person, but essentially, I haven't even looked at this person's uh, PFF score. I haven't. I haven't looked at anything, no stats, no nothing. It was just something that I have witnessed with my own eyes as well as you have when I say it, and the chat would agree. I think we'll see. But first and foremost, what's amazing about Justin Tucker is, and I feel like it's always this way with kickers that are just, I mean, he's fabulous and the most accurate kicker in NFL history,
Yep.
etc. But he was an undrafted free agent, so I'm waiting for us to be able to get lucky on an undrafted free agent to have a kicker like him again. Like, I mean, obviously Phil Dawson was our Justin Tucker, but he was our Justin Tucker during you know I mean
The dark time period.
we were worse than used bathtub water. But with that being said, where I was going was, I don't know what happened to the guy they call the Hammer, but he has been more like a rubber mallet. And I mean, he's been god awful this year. I mean, terrible. I don't know what happened. And he cost us field position Monday night. That I think you know exactly which one I'm talking about. It was
Yep.
towards the end of the game. It might have.
They even called it. They're like, that was a 35-yard punt.
Yeah, I mean, it was garbage, and he had all the time in the world. And you brought up PFF, and I shit you not, as soon as you said that, I'm like, oh, let me scroll down to the bottom. That's right. I can see what his grade is. I mean, you certainly can look at, the Sheldon Richardsons of the world. He's 62nd or 127 of defensive linemen, which, I mean, it's solid. He's doing well. But I mean, that's 62 of 127 different guys that play the defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes so on and so forth with the D-backs. There's 126 of them in the league. Denzel's 13, T. Mitch is 50, etc. But when you look at head coaches in the NFL, there's 32 gigs and there's only 32 of them.
Yep.
And that's the same with
punters.
The punters. I mean, nobody's changing punter mid-year. So there's 32 of them. I mean, there's probably there's maybe one time around the league somebody pulls a hammy and the place kicker is kicking. But anyway, let's throw that out. There's 32 teams in the NFL, and Jamie Gillen is ranked 27 to 32.
Where's the guy that we had? What's his name? The dude that was.
Oh, that we let go. Isn't he a Raider?
I think he is. He's definitely in the league.
Let me see. I don't know why we can't.
They have AJ Cole.
No.
I know is he on the Chargers maybe?
He has the brother that plays for the Chiefs, right?
It's not Tyler. Who was the kicker that got chat? Keep us honest here. Who's the kicker? The punter, I'm sorry, that we had.
Why can't we think of this?
I'm just gonna Google it. Browns punter 2018.
Don't tell me. I want to guess.
All right, I know who it is now.
It's killing me. I don't know how I don't know how we don't know.
Yeah, you don't want me to tell you?
No, damn it.
He is playing currently for the Minnesota Vikings.
Colquitt.
Yep.
What's his first name?
Britton.
Yes. And right, doesn't his brother kick for the Chiefs?
I
know there's
younger brother Dustin and cousin of former punter Jimmy Colquitt. Younger brother, former Kansas City Chiefs punter.
Minnesota.
Distant cousin Greg Colquitt, a walk-on, punted for Clemson for one
Jack
season.
just threw that out there in the chat.
Yeah, Minnesota. But I mean, so he's on the Vikings right now. Where's Colquitt and PFF? Do you have that?
Let me look.
Because that would be interesting to see if we made the
That
right
is.
move or not.
I mean, where else can you go on a Wednesday night where we're discussing
Punters.
punters PFF scores? I mean, we do it all over here.
Oh my God. It
All right, here we go. Let's do.
if I had a guess,
Yeah, I want you to guess, and I want a couple of guesses out of the chat.
I would guess he's 16th.
So you say 16th. How about the chat?
Chat.
Where do you think he might be?
Yeah, chat. If you guys want to play the PFF game with us.
Jack says 11th. Ryan Burlow says the 12th. I can't even make this shit up.
What is he?
He's 30th.
No.
He's 30th.
Okay. Well, we made a better move.
We did. Albeit 3 spots, but it was a better move.
That's bad.
But you know what's funny is I mean they're off by like a smidge. Colquitt is a 56.2, and I think well, I could go back. I think
55.9 or something.
9, yeah, I think it was.
It's like basically a wash.
It really is. It was like the difference of that shit kick he had on Monday night that cost us field position.
Elga.
Yeah, 59.9.
Elgna Shader said 12th. Damn.
Well, I got to tell you, while we're playing this game, let's see who the best punter is in football, because now I'm curious.
If I had to guess, whoever punts for the Chiefs.
Now, his name is Tommy Townsend. He's 3rd.
That's who the Chiefs have?
Yep. I'll give you the top 10.
There you go.
Jack Fox from Detroit, Bradley Pinion from Tampa Bay, Townsend from Kansas City, Mitch Wisnowski from San Francisco, J.K. Scott from Green Bay, A.J. Cole the 3rd, Las Vegas, Michael Dixon, Seattle, Brett Kern, Tennessee, Sam Koch, Baltimore, and Jake Bailey of New England. And there are a couple that are peppered up in there, like I mean the Ravens and the Chiefs. They don't punt that much.
You know, it's funny. Like I never thought a lot about the punters in the NFL. I just thought, man, that seems like an easy job. Yeah. But then I watched Pat McAfee a couple times talk about it on his YouTube show, and you know how he's up there looking at what the weather, what the wind is going to be the next day, sweating bullets if it's going to be raining or snowing, or there's going to be some gale force wind coming in, like all of those sorts of things. And I think for the majority of McAfee's career, he punted indoors, right? But it's what an interesting dude he is. I mean, he's just got that crazy personality that launched him into the stratosphere. Like they put together and they said, hey, this guy's got a personality. Let's put a show together. Let's put him on YouTube so he can swear. And boom, instant hit. But yeah, I guess we have to get better at punter too.
Dustin Colquitt was on the Chiefs. He's the Steelers punter. Yeah, I knew there was a Colquitt on the Chiefs. Just the wrong year.
Well, I mean, there you go. In terms of, can you see the kickers now?
Yeah, you know what? We're in lockstep here. I already selected.
Got it dialed in. We're dialed in. Dialed in tonight on the Brownie Postgame Wednesday show. If I had to say where Parky is,
middle of the road. I'm thinking
like 23. If I had to guess.
I don't know why it's not coming up. Let me see.
McAfee's our version of John Daly. I think John Daly's just pretty much a
Here we go.
trailer park type. John Daly is like if there was like a Kid Rock video and they needed a golfer, like that's who John Daly is. I don't think John Daly's got like a personality like McAfee does.
So let's see.
Elgna Shader says 18th on Twitch.
He literally is middle of the road. Like smack dab. Like I scroll down, he's smack dab in the middle of it.
Yeah.
He's better than Zane Gonzalez.
Huh? Ara, he's better than Zane.
Better than Zane. He's better than Siebert, although Siebert's not really getting any looks.
All right.
Jason Sanders in Miami is one, with Justin Tucker a close second. Cairo Santos third. Jason Myers fourth. Robbie Gould fifth. McManus of Denver 6. Graham Gano of the Giants 7. Suckup 8. Crosby 9. And Daniel Carlson rounding out your top 10 with Butker and Koo right there with us.
Yeah, Koo's the guy that I put on my fantasy team at the end of the year. He's been lighting it up.
Yeah.
And I know that we were looking at him too.
Yeah.
When all that whole situation happened. Again, I mean, he could be one of those guys who's benefiting from kicking indoors. Ryan Burlow says, Mike, you gave Parkey props recently. Obviously screwed the Pooch versus the Ravens. Yeah, I mean,
the worst part is Tucker's only 31. He's going to be kicking in Baltimore for like 110 years. He's going to come out in a walker and still be accurate.
Yep. And they had Stover for a long time, which is painful coming from Cleveland. We had to watch him kick over there. I was still a Matt Barr fan when I was growing up.
Yeah.
I never really loved Stover. I always thought he had a kind of a abrasive personality. But he was a kicker, so who gave a crap? But Parkey, I hope Parkey can turn it around. And so what number was he, by the way? Parkey, 16.
Parkey is. It's weird because it doesn't. When I just had the kickers up, for some strange reason it gave me no rank on the side, so I would have had a countdown. So let me just go back to our page.
That's fine. If you saw him like,
no, you know what? They don't rank him. I don't. I'd have to count. Go back to that page and count. But he was middle of the road, like.
I mean, honestly,
like 15 and 20, something like that.
Middle of the road is fine, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So it's.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you're not gonna. I mean, we could all get down on him from the other night, and rightfully so. But at the same time, I mean, they're kicking a little ball through a skinny set of uprights with different field conditions. The wind changes at the drop of a hat, even if there is no wind. There, one, all you got to do is be off like a millimeter, and you're pushing the ball one way or another. So I mean, he's won games for us. He's done well. I mean, is he Justin Tucker? No. Is he Will Lutz? No. But I mean, like I said, I remember sitting in the dog pound during warm-ups last year when Joseph came aboard. And I mean, the guy kicked his first practice extra point in warm-ups at the stadium in front of people. And it was actually a shaky kick, but he made it. And then we all cheered. So we've essentially come a long way. So, I mean, you would it have been nice if he made those points the other night and we get the win? Yeah. At the same time, he wasn't the one that
he didn't give up 47.
Yeah, he didn't back into the corner, and he wasn't the guy that got sucked up. But you know what? It doesn't matter because he's got a concussion. But Marquise Brown is on the COVID list as of 4:30 today. So,
well, that could actually. I mean, there's 3 guys from the Ravens who are on the COVID list.
And meanwhile, what's his name spitting at Jarvis?
Yeah, what, Peters?
Yeah.
I can't believe the I can't believe the league is not doing anything. If they
Yeah,
don't do anything about that, I think that'd be crazy.
yeah. And who knows if you know how we all jump to conclusions. I mean, they quite possibly could have looked at it already, and from the angle that we saw it and the angle that actually occurred could have been two different. And I don't know. I'm playing devil's advocate here, but the way the angle looked, it looked like he spit right on him, but
Yeah.
in reality, it could have been 5 yards to the
Either way,
right. Who knows?
you're spitting in the general direction of another guy
During COVID,
During
yeah,
COVID. It's not a bright move.
no,
Um,
I agree.
and I just I don't like the Ravens players, man. I really they rub me the wrong way. They could be the greatest human beings off of the field.
Yeah,
I don't know. But from what
no,
I'm seeing, it just seems like some of these guys are scumbags
they
and
really are. I mean, and that's been the history of that of that team. But I mean, look at it
right.
this way. Look at the head asshole that brought them to Baltimore. So I mean,
Yeah, fits. The shoe
yeah,
fits them.
absolutely does.
Yeah. Looking forward to this Giants game.
Yeah,
The Giants are a beatable team. I mean,
you know what? Let me
the
go ahead.
reality is the Giants are a very beatable team. They're 5-8. They're basically dunzo in the playoffs. Uh, Colt McCoy is not gonna. If Colt McCoy comes back and beats us and knocks us out of which again we lose one game, and it's you know that could be it
Yeah,
because unfortunately this year I think it's going to take 11 games to get in. I don't think it's possible to be 12. I don't think you're going to need 12 to get in, but you're probably going to need 11 out of the AFC because we played these NFC teams who suck. We played the NFC East. Well, we got to beat them all.
yeah,
This is we're at final boss territory right now, and we've got a couple little mini bosses here with the Giants and Jets, and then we got the Steelers at the end. I just don't want to have to go into that Steelers game having it be a must win to make the playoffs.
agreed.
Historically, we do not do well in those games.
No,
So I just don't want to see that. It would be wonderful if we could. I don't know if I have that much faith that this much faith yet in this Browns team to be able to beat like a Steelers to get into the playoffs, and I don't know if I have enough faith yet in the Browns team to win in the playoffs.
yeah.
Even if we have to play the Colts or the Titans, who we've beaten in the past. I think we could beat. I think we could give the Bills a good game. I really
Oh,
do.
I think so too. I yeah. I mean, we they made fun of us all year. Go beat somebody, and then you do, and they say, well, that team sucked, or their defense wasn't good, or oh, go beat the Titans, and you beat the Titans, and then all of a
In
sudden now their
Tennessee.
defense isn't good, and then you lose in a game that essentially, like we talked about earlier. I mean, whoever had the ball last wins, and Stefanski even talked about that, in his presser today, because I think it was Gross. He might have asked him, about scoring with too much time on the clock, etc. And Stefanski even said, he's like, trust me, I was watching the clock. He said, but I never thought in a million years that a little wheel route to Kareem was going to score a quick touchdown. He's like, that's just a testament to him and his talent to be able to get in. He's like, but when I called that play, never did I think that it was going to go for a score. He's like, so sure, you don't want to score that quick, but at the same time, I mean, what are you going to do if somebody makes a play?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, the bottom line is, and I was talking to a guy I work with, and he kept bringing it up. He's like, "You guys just scored too fast," and it's easy to say that in hindsight. But what if, and how many times does this happen, where you get you're 1 inch out, right? You're 1 inch out. You had a minute 8 left, and so now you're out of bounds, you know, on the 1 inch line. You line up 1st and 10 on the 1 inch with with the minute 8, false start. Now you're on the 5 yard line, minute 8. First play, pass, nothing, throw it away. On our 2nd and 5 with less than a minute left, just under less than a minute left, minute 5. Next play, you decide to run, right, to see if you can get in, right,
Yep.
and see if you can get the clock rolling. You run, you get stuck on the 2 yard line, so you're basically kind of right back to where you started. Now it's third down, and you either have to burn a timeout or rush up to the field really quickly on third down to try to make a play. Incomplete, something's not there, somebody drops a pass, or you get sacked. I mean, then you're sitting there and you're like, man, if we would have just had that inch and just let our defense go out and play against an injured Lamar Jackson, and maybe it's it. But it's so, how many in the NFL, points are points, and they're very hard to get. And when you have an opportunity to get him, you got to strike. I don't blame Kareem Hunt for what he did. It just unfortunately, I said it the second he scored. I go, that's just too much time. That's too much time to get for Justin Tucker, who all you have to do is get it to basically like the 40-yard line, and it's guaranteed going in.
And you knew they were going to get there.
Yeah,
They
it
kept
was
showing that line, and you're like, yep, getting closer.
easily, yeah. And most kickers, when you get to that furthest distance mark, it's like, what's the furthest kick they've made in their career? Like, what do they have the leg to kick? And you're like, all right, well, if you're there or around there, 50-50 at best.
Yeah.
At that. With Justin Tucker, it's like, 90%, 93%. So it just is what it is. And, but looking ahead to the Giants, Colt McCoy, nobody's afraid of Colt McCoy. Although I don't think he's that bad. I just think he's like the definition of below average. Not Deshaun Kaiser, not horrible, but a professional below average quarterback. That's who Colt McCoy is at this point in his 10-year career.
What's funny, and not to cut you off, when you talk about the PFF scores, and obviously they hold a lot of weight, but at the same time, you're going to find some discrepancy in there where you look and it doesn't pass the the eye test.
Mm-hmm.
And so you look at the quarterback PFF grades, right? And you look at Baker, and man, his scores have shot up. And he's a 77.6, right? Overall, and a 77 passing. And you look at his stats, and you pull them up, and he's got 2,785 passing yards, 18th in the league. He's got 23 passing touchdowns, which is 12th in the league, tied. And then he has 8 interceptions, which is tied for 18th. And then you go back, and I went back too far. Hold on. So he's ranked 17th. Then you go up, and Daniel Jones is actually tied with Lamar Jackson at 15th, right? And
Okay.
then you look at Daniel Jones's stats, and I literally went back and forth because I'm like, this has to be wrong. And I grabbed Baker's stats. I'm like, no, that's where he is.
Yeah.
Regardless, you look at Daniel Jones's stats, and like I said, he's ranked 15th, tied with Lamar. He's 78.4 overall, with a 73.8 passing. He's got 2,462 passing yards, which is 21st in the league. This was the stat that I was like, I know he's been hurt, but really, this is it? 8 passing touchdowns for 32nd in the league, and 9 interceptions, tied for 12th. And his PFF score overall is better than Baker. So, obviously there's a lot that goes into calculating the score, but that's kind of peculiar, no?
It is, and I think like with the PFF scores, obviously they're like a proprietary score,
Yep.
right? So and a lot of it is like, hey, it's human beings looking at stuff, probably with some computer assistance as well. Oh, Gary Johnson's here. How's it going, Gary? Jason Kimball's in the house. I saw some other guys in here. I saw Aura there. I think I said hello to Aura. Keith C. Yeah, guys, appreciate you guys stopping by. Got all the old guard is here.
Yeah.
Um, we haven't done the mug giveaway yet, so everybody who's in chat, we're still going to do the mug giveaway before the end of the night. So hang tight, hang with us.
That was like good news today. I saw you
Yeah,
you
right.
tweeted the mugs in. And you know what's funny, Mike, is we've gotten to the point where like the Cleveland Clothing Company is like on speed dial with our tweets. Like you say something about the mug or whatever, and then they're tweeting it or they're saying something to you, or if I'm doing it,
Retweeting it.
yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and kudos to them for that,
Yeah,
because there's I don't really know who runs that account, or if it's just a social media person, or if it's like one of the owners. I'm not on a first name basis with them like I am with Sabo Apparel,
yeah.
with Brian who owns their company. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. It's almost like the Victory Monday mug is like, we've like affiliated our brand with
We have.
that. It'd be cool if they would come out with like a limited edition run of the official, of the original, because that's what they call it, the original Victory Monday mug, Brownie Postgame edition. Put our logo on that.
Yeah,
That
that would
would
be
be
sweet.
wild. Just a limited edition. Maybe only make like 50 of them. Don't go crazy with them. Just like, maybe not even, maybe like 20, and just go. I think that'd be available. Is the mug giveaway available to us on Twitch? Yes, it is, of course. So it's both. I'm multi-streaming right now. You will absolutely be available. And the way that we do it, Mike, let's just go ahead and do it.
Yeah, I'm
Let's
ready.
go ahead and do it. All right, guys. So type in chat a number between 1 and 100 right now. So 1 to 100 now for the mug, and I want to say to. Okay, so I got it in both chats. I'm not looking at what people are saying, but I have my number in right now. My number's in. So, and I'll type the same number over there on Twitch so you guys can see it. That's the way we do it. So whoever gets closest to my number that I just put in right now will win the Victory Monday mug, and we'll get it out to you.
This is exciting. I don't even know your number. I can't even see the number.
You're right, you can't. You could
I
type,
have
you could
no.
put a number in there, Mike, and see if you win it.
I have. I have no idea. This is exciting.
It's funny because when the last guy who won was Santino Torres, and who was like tweeting all day, "When's the show going on? When's the show going on? Win the mug!" And then he comes and he wins the damn mug
Right? I mean,
in
he called his
overtime.
shot. He did in overtime.
In overtime, he won it,
It's
and
like
uh,
hockey.
and I don't know what I did. I said something like, "Yeah, maybe I'll send him out two." Blah blah blah. So the whole time he's like, "Yeah, he's gonna send me two," and then I don't even think the first one has arrived yet because there's been some like uh,
Oh, I
uh,
know.
a
I
postal
know.
there's a postal service delay going on
Yeah,
through
there
through
is.
the US Post Office. So it's his is delayed, and
You know what else is delayed, Mike? Half of my wife's Christmas presents.
oh no, dude,
Oh
really?
yeah, there's a couple of them that they were scanned at a facility across the country in random spots because it's a few of them. And it's not like I went out like yesterday and was like,
Did you
oh
buy
shit,
him?
I got
Did you buy him from like individual retailers, or did you buy him from like Amazon?
individual retailers.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is and I'm sorry to derail the whole hype here, but the crazy thing is, I ordered this stuff weeks ago, and you know how like when you see the ship and it says, the label has been
Hmm.
created, and
Yep.
then they receive it, and then it gets checked in at like, the first sorting facility, and then boom, it goes. There's like 3 or 4 of these presents that I'm waiting for,
Are they like the big ones?
and they're the big ones, and they've been stuck at like the same facility since one since December 5th, one since last Friday.
Dude, that is so unfortunate. I know how
I
you
know.
feel too, because at this stage in my life, I haven't even told my wife anything that I want for Christmas. I'm like, usually I do. Usually I have some big ticket item that I just wanted really, really bad. And and she's like, "Well, what do you want?" I'm like, I've got a couple things, but everything
Yeah.
that I would want is like so out of the realm of like what should be an acceptable price range for like a gift, a Christmas gift. I mean, there's one like so just for everybody in chat, one of the things that I'm working on is getting a better camera for this, because this is like this crappy. It's not crappy. It's the Logitech C90, which is like a good. It's like your standard streamer webcam, and it's got good software. It's good. It's not a bad camera, but it's a 1080p. I want to say it might even be 1080p 30 frames per second camera. And I really want to step my game up. It will absolutely be in for next year. Like there will be 100% a professional camera, so it'll look better next year. And I'm going to change the overlay to make us bigger and stuff like that, because right now I'm just kind of like, this is my first draft of it. I actually wouldn't have heard. This is like
Which
my
looks
second
great.
second draft of it. I still have the original draft, the original overlay, which when I look at it, it is horrid. I mean, it is like disgusting, but but I'm going to continue to do that. So, but the camera that I'm looking for is like, it's a $500 camera. And if you actually think about it, in the terms of cameras that I've, when I want to buy something that's like a couple $100, I go in. I mean, I'm doing research on it. I'm looking at the reviews, on the written reviews, the video reviews, finding out who are the other streamers who have it, what are the features that I'm going to get, what are the trade-offs, like am I going for 1080p 60 frames, am I going for 4K 30 frames, like what I'm into it, right? And and so I was like, but I don't know if I want to ask my wife for a $500 gift,
Don't do
even
it
though,
now. It'll
yeah,
get here for next Christmas.
yeah, it's just like I don't want to do that. So this year for me, and I still have to do a little bit of Christmas shopping for my wife, because she was even saying like, hey, if you haven't really gotten it, you might want to get on that, because like we're getting close here. But
9 away.
it's all about my kids. I mean, I think I actually kind of went overboard this year for kids stuff, but now that I have three, two of them are like, I have a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old about to be 8, and this is the first year, and then we have the infant. She's a year old, about to turn 2, and I'm like, this is kind of like the last year I'm going to be able to really splurge on just the 2 kids,
Yep.
because next year the baby's, she's going to be 2, she'll almost be 3, so she'll kind of be more evenly represented from like the size gift stuff. So I went a little overboard this year on them, but I'm so looking forward to it, because it's like, I don't know how it is with you, with your daughters growing up and stuff
Yeah.
like that, but for me, it is like, I think I look forward to Christmas morning for my kids more
Yeah.
than they do.
Yep.
And I have all the old Christmases, like I film them like with my camera, and then I upload them to my personal YouTube channel with a private link, so, or an unlisted link, so
Yeah.
and we go back every year and we watch the Christmas videos on Christmas Eve and stuff like that, and how much fun we had opening the presents. And it's just this great thing, and I can't wait, for the stuff that I got. Like I got my son a 49-inch ultra wide computer monitor.
Oh, he's gonna
Um,
be in his glory.
it's in. I looked at it, and I got it used from Facebook Marketplace. Which, by the way, guys, if you're looking for like electronics and you kind of know what you're doing, Facebook Marketplace is an exceptional way to buy electronics. And for me, I'm in sales. I like doing that kind of thing. And somebody comes out with an item like they listed for like $700. And then you got me coming in there, and I'm like, look, I don't want you to be offended. Would you be offended if I threw out like $200? You know? And then
Hey,
and
you
then you
don't know unless you ask.
yeah, and then I'm always like, this is a gift for my daughter. I'm on a budget. I'm trying to just piece this thing together. And, can you help me out here? And so the guy that I bought the monitor from, right? So he originally had it listed for, think he had it listed for like $600, I think. And I talked him down to $500. Might have been 650. Might have been 650. And
so you talked him down about 150.
yeah, and I was like, I mean, it's a used monitor, and to be honest, they had other ones that were in that class that on and it was on Black Friday.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look, I can buy this brand new for like $700. So
Right.
for me, like to get a brand new product that I don't have to worry about that comes with a warranty for $50 more is kind of worth it for me if you don't want to negotiate.
Mm-hmm.
And to this guy's credit, he's like, look, the bottom line is, the price of that monitor that you're looking at is typically even higher, and the price of my monitor is typically even higher. And I'm like, yeah, but I mean, the reality is it is Black Friday. I have the money. I'm in the market to buy this particular monitor, which is a niche product anyway. So he was cool. And then when
Nice.
I got to his place, he had a daughter that was like, probably maybe a year old or something like that, 18 months old, something like that. And I said, hey man, I was like, I got kids and, blah, blah, blah. I'm in a decent financial situation. I think you wanted like 600 or something like that. And I got talking down to 500. So I'll give you, how about we make it 550? And I just throw in an extra $50 for you.
Oh,
But I was like,
that's nice.
but you have to use the $50 to buy Christmas presents for your daughter. Like that's my condition. And he was like, done. He's like, no problem. I'll absolutely do that. And now I'm like friends with him on Facebook Messenger, and we're like talking about computer products because I'm like all into computer products. All right, so let's go back and let's do the giveaway.
Yeah, everybody in the chat's like, you're killing me.
Yeah, like come on, shut up, dude. My number was 29. Eric
Ooh.
Turner, 29. I think Mario G just came in with a 27. Literally just came in with a 27. So if I didn't go off my long-winded Christmas story, I think he's the closest, right? Keep me honest, chat here. 21, 38, 37. Nope. So Mario G looks like it. Let me hop over to Twitch.
Yeah, I'm looking now. See a 23, 21.
Twitch, yeah, my number was 38. So Elgna Shader. I don't know how to say your name. Is it Elgna Shatter or Shader? Elgna, you're gonna have to give me a pronunciation. And Ara says, when are we moving over to Twitch and dropping YouTube? It's not gonna be this season, guys. Like on Twitch or on YouTube, this last show we had, I think the post game show we had 300 and like peak 350 people watching, which is like, I mean, that's basically like 10% of my audience, 10% of your subscriber base. And it wasn't just subscribers. I mean, the vast majority, I think 50% of my audience on every stream and every video is non-subscribers. So the bottom line is it's like, there's just too much of an audience here on YouTube right now as I'm continuing to grow to switch over completely to a new platform. But I like it there. El Nashador. El Nashador. Okay, that makes better sense. El Nash. And the cool thing about Twitch is like you can actually subscribe. You can subscribe for free with Twitch Prime, so it really does help out the show. I don't love to beg people for money for Patreon, but if you can, it's awesome. And the only reason we did the Patreon is because I couldn't monetize with subscribers on YouTube, so it sucks. And we want to be able to do cool giveaways. And the giveaways I do for the mug, I actually physically buy the mugs. Cleveland Clothing Co. doesn't give me anything. Sabo Apparel and Homage, they give me stuff. They actually handle all the transactions. I just give them your name, address, and size and product, and they take care of shipping. And the Sabo Apparel, Brian is like, bam. I mean, as soon as I hit it, he sends it out like the next day. Homage is like, hey, it's been 3 weeks. Can you check on it? And then, my rep over there, Anna, is like, oh yeah, let me check on that. I'm going to send out 3 of your shirts tomorrow. Oops. So I always put a disclaimer about Homage is it's a little different relationship than I have with Sabo, but who knows? I mean, with the kind of analytics and the kind of reach we're getting, I think we're coming close to 800,000 views on YouTube and over 50,000 watch hours on YouTube.
Wow.
And I know we're not huge or anything, but we're getting there. It's going, right? So we're going to be in a situation where hopefully, like a company like Cleveland Clothing Co. might say, hey, we're going to give you we're gonna give you the mug every week, and we're gonna do a sponsorship, something like that, so that we can give even more stuff away. So I'm certainly not doing this to get rich, guys, but there are some just keep in mind, there are some expenses that go into this. And one of them is like the website where I have the new merch. And I should probably talk about the website. I never talk about the website.
Oh,
BrowniePostgame.com.
You got to. I don't want not to interrupt you, but you got to remind me about that shirt that we were discussing.
Oh, by the way, I bought it.
Did you buy it? Is it in the store right now?
It's in the store right now. If you go to BrowniePostgame.com/merch,
All right, I got
the Brownie Postgame Deep Fall limited. It's a limited edition.
It's a limited run.
It's a limited run.
And what
I think it even says. I think it even says limited. I'm gonna go check it out right now. Brownie.
Check it out, because I have to get mine, and I mean, we are literally at the end. I mean, we could not get any deeper into the fall than where we are right now, except for literally, no pun intended, falling into winter next week.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't have it listed. I thought I had it listed as a limited run. I am going to change that as we speak. The Browns Batman shirt is on there. That is a limited run because, we're skating around some copyright stuff with that one.
You know what? When I saw that, I was like, man, this can't be up for long. There's someone's gonna see it.
Yeah, it's gonna be. So I'm gonna put a time period on this one, and we're gonna go till. I don't even know how these dates things work. Actually, let's do it. We'll do an item limited run. We're gonna do 15 total. Please accept our terms and conditions. Okay, it is updated. Okay.
Oh my God!
Just so you guys know, let me see if I can just bring it in so you guys can see it. I'm gonna do a window capture. Bring in a new one. Sure, just so I can add the source real quick so you guys can see it.
The deep fall is in my cart.
All right, so this is the shirt here, guys. The deep fall shirt.
Look at it. It's beautiful.
This is it. And it's the deep fall right there. So I'm putting, there's 15 total you can buy. Yeah, and as you see there, I'm making a $1 profit off of this.
Do they run big or small? Or true to size?
They're pretty true to size because this one, I bought one of the cheaper one. This is like not the American Apparel. I'm trying to make this as cheap as possible. $1 profit, guys. I'm not trying to make a killing off of this at all, as you can see. But yeah, there it is. The Deep Fall shirt limited run, guys.
I love that. I love the bat one too.
Yeah, the bat one was pretty cool. You see, again, anytime I do stuff like this, I always find like little things that I wish I could fix about it. And obviously I'm not going to go back and do it now because, I have 24 days left on this shirt. I think I've sold like 2 of them or something like that. Again, another $1 profit. But it actually cost me $20 a month for this site. And it's not just for the website. It's because I have Streamlabs Prime. So like when I switch frames like this, you get all the cool, like, stuff that comes along with Twitch Prime, and I can do the multi-stream to both stuff, but it costs $20 a month, which is a lot of money, for web hosting, which shouldn't cost that much.
Not to interrupt you, Gary Washington had a question, and yes, we were talking about the Scottish rubber mallet, as I like to call him now, because he is he's ranked 27 out of 32 and really hasn't been kicking as well as we would hope for. So that's what we were talking about a little bit earlier.
Keith sees, what's the 75% off coupon? I don't have a 75% off code. I've got a 20% coupon code that I'm not even sure. YouTube is not receiving enough to maintain smooth streaming. Is it streaming okay on your guys' side? I'm getting a weird error message on YouTube. Mike, you and Quincy. I guess you guys can use if there's only like
YouTube's moving.
MK20 is the code to save money, save 20% on at Cleveland Clothing Co. So if you want to buy it, you can save the money on that.
Man, when I bought that mug, and you do tout me as the leader of the Victory Monday mug, and I
100%, dude.
yeah, and I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I agree with that. But I remember when I bought that damn thing, and when I bought it, I had to wait like a whole half. Well, if I'm trying to remember, it's like I bought it, and then we never won a game again, and it was like it was just sitting there, and I'm like, I love that damn mug, and I want to drink my coffee out of it, but I mean, how dare I? I can't. It's a victory. It's a victory mug,
Right.
and all we do is lose, so I
Yep.
can't drink out of it. And you could ask my wife when we finally won. The way I came downstairs on that Monday,
Just
and
smiling.
oh my god,
You got
and
your
and
mug out.
and Mike, it's in it. I keep it in the same spot in one of the cabinets. It's got its own home, and when I went down there that day, and it was like, oh, as I opened those things, and as you know, drinking out of the Victory Monday mug, I mean, the coffee's never tasted so good.
You're absolutely
And
right.
so the moral of this story is, man, what a year to have won one of these things or bought one on your own. Because I mean, we've had two spans of 4 in a row. I mean, 2 times this year, you had 4 straight weeks drinking out of the damn Victory Monday mug. I mean, that is unprecedented.
You know, it's funny. I actually, because we had talked about this a little bit, because you got to figure other teams of other football teams, right, would probably want to have their own Victory Monday mug. They might even have one, right? So imagine if we came out with like Victory Monday, victorymondaymug.com, and we went out to like one of these like pottery, ceramic store, like not the cheap, like not to say that the Cleveland Clothing Company one is cheap, because it probably isn't. I don't know.
But it'd be nicer if it was a little bit bigger.
Yeah, because I actually, when I was in Kenosha, Wisconsin, no, I'm sorry, it was Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, um, for a wedding. We had to go first to Kenosha and then over.
Yeah.
We went to my wife was in the wedding, so I had to sit there with my son. My daughter wasn't born yet, just me and him. And we went to this like really cozy, homey, you know, diner right there at the lake, and they had these really cool custom pottery mugs that they were giving us your coffee in, your diner coffee. And I was like, man, this is the nicest mug I've ever drank out of. And I said, do you guys sell these? And they were like, yeah, we actually do. But they're $25. And I was like, I mean, that's a lot for a mug. And it wasn't a big one. It wasn't big. It was just a standard mug.
Right.
But I said, you know what? Give me one of those mugs. This is going to be my coffee mug, because I loved drinking out of it so much. So when I was I was making my wife a Victory Monday coffee the other day,
Right.
not this week, but last week. And I looked and I saw that mug. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that mug. And I was like, who makes this thing? And I looked underneath it and I found the company who made it. And I was like, it'd be really interesting if we set this up and then bought a whole bunch of these. And I think their minimum order is like 100, and they're like easily $20 mugs. So it would be, just inventory alone, it wouldn't be free.
Yeah.
And I don't think they would drop ship for us either. But to customize Victory Monday mugs for all the different teams, and then get into the mug selling business. Is the Brownie Postgame Show big enough to sell mugs across the country? I don't know. But it would be cool if we had but I also don't want to steal their thunder. I mean, and I think we might be in a position, because of how much publicity we give this mug, we might be in a position to renegotiate a relationship with Cleveland Clothing Company next year, and potentially do some stuff. Who knows? We obviously weren't doing it, and we aren't doing it right now to try to get that. But if they happen to say, "Hey, we value you guys talking about our stuff," and we're selling out. They sold out of the mug, dude. Have you ever seen the original Victory Monday mug sold out before?
No.
There you go.
You know, if I told
We
you
haven't won 9 games, but
that's another thing. If I told you what I was doing right now, you would it. So I got to tell you.
tell me.
So I think I've said this on uh, on our show that my favorite coffee mug is my Yeti coffee mug.
Mhm.
Keeps it hot forever. It's just a nice mug. And I may or may not have just been on the Yeti site customizing my own Victory Monday mug out of a Yeti coffee mug. That might have just happened.
Hey, I mean,
And
and if you could do it, so you could write on it too.
no, that's what I just did. You literally, and the most painstaking part of what just occurred. So I put, and I'm just messing around. I'm not gonna buy. I already have two of them. My wife would probably throw me out of the house. But I put Victory Monday, up top, and then right below it, I had brownies. And the back to the pain point is they have an option where you could put a logo on it, but they don't have the NFL. They just have Major League Baseball and NASCAR. So I can now.
Put the city on it.
Oh my God! I just opened a whole nother can of worms. You literally can take a picture and drag it onto the damn thing. All right, this
You
is
should
gonna
what you
be
should do is, Mike, instead of taking a picture of like the Browns logo
yeah.
or the city of Cleveland or anything like that, you should take a picture of your Cleveland Clothing Co. Victory Monday mug and put that onto your Yeti.
Onto my Yeti.
Onto your Yeti. So it still is kind of applies to it. Um, yeah, I don't drink. I want a Victory Monday iced coffee because so I drink these big iced coffees, which it comes out to be about the same volume, about 10 to 12 ounces of actual coffee in it because it's filled up with ice. Because I like to just kill it quick. Like I need it in my veins when I get up in the morning.
Yeah.
So I don't nurse my coffee at all. I will drink hot coffee, but I have to be kind of like in a mood. Like if I'm in a restaurant, I'm
Mhm.
not gonna order like they always fuck up your iced coffee at restaurants. Even it's hit or miss. Even go to Dunkin' sometimes with iced coffee, but so I'll have a hot cup of coffee where I can put in my own cream and sugar and all that kind of shit. But at home, it's iced. So I want a Victory Monday iced coffee cup, and maybe I could get
Well,
like one of these
I got a
one of
tumbler
these
just for
things.
you on the Yeti, right on here, Mike. I got it. I
Is it,
could put the
is it
logo on it.
iced coffee?
We could get you. What do you call it? One of the. I mean, Yeti has those nice. Uh, the bigger like tumbler type mugs where they have the straw.
Yeah.
You could choose
We
your
do.
color.
By the way, we also do have a Victory Monday Brownie Postgame mug on
I was just looking at that.
browniepostgame.com/merch. But the thing that sucks about it on the merch shop is that it doesn't. It just says Victory. It looks like it's just a white mug that says Victory Monday. It doesn't. You have to actually click into it to then see. If you turn it and you see the other angles, you do see that it has our logo on it. But it's
Yeah.
the way that this store is laid out that is just, you know, it, there might be an update to browniepostgame.com next year too. Who knows? Maybe we'll get big enough to hire an intern. I do have the ability to do web development. It is in my my toolkit. It's just that it is a pain in the ass to do web development. It
Oh,
sucks
believe
doing
me.
it. It's very time consuming. It would take me an entire weekend to get it right and putz around with the whole damn thing. And it was just easier for me to pay $20 to just do this. They handle all the stuff, and even though I am kind of using some copyrighted stuff in some of my things, they're not auto rejecting it. They're just like, hey,
Okay.
type in terms and conditions. You are not using anything copyrighted. Boom, it's on you, not us.
Yeah.
So, but I think most of it I can use. Maybe I can use parody law. Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, the Drake shirt's up there. I bought one of the Drake shirts. I wear it a lot. It's great, even though it's one of the cheaper shirts. And then the Brownie postgame shirt, the actual one up, the American Apparel one, is awesome. It is awesome. I love it, and I can wear that shirt for days.
That's great.
L Nash says, "What's your favorite piece of Browns apparel that you guys own?"
Oh
Mine
no.
is an AFC Central 1987 Champs T-shirt. Mike, what's your favorite
Nice.
piece of Browns apparel?
God, I have
Does
so
the Jim Brown jersey behind you count or no?
no, I don't think so because I don't wear it. You know, I, I I don't know. That's a tough one for me because I mean, I have to and I did a while ago. I think like last year at some time, and I posted a picture on Twitter. I'll see if it's still on there, but if it is, I'll have to tweet it out to you so you could tweet it out on the Brownie Post Game Twitter. But I took a picture of my closet, and I don't know if you remember, Mike, but I mean, I have a problem, and I have a bad problem, and my wife knows I have a problem, and she realized that she was not going to fix my problem. So now she has just started contributing to the problem, which I don't
She's
get me wrong,
enabling you.
I appreciate it. But I mean, I have a walk-in closet, and the whole thing is literally it's like the Browns closet. Like there's the jersey section, there's the winter jacket section, there's the vest section, there's the hat section, the shirts, and that's not including the drawer that I have in my dresser that's Browns. But I think if I had to choose one, if you had me on the tip of the ledge of a mountain and you were going to push me off and I had to tell you,
Mhm.
it would probably be, and I'll wear it on the show next week. It would probably be my Mitchell and Ness winter vest that has the elf on it.
Okay.
And this thing, I posted a picture of this, and within minutes, Pumpkinhead was in my DMs wanting to know where he could get one. And the fact of the matter is, I've never seen another one. So nobody's getting another one. That's all
Yeah,
me.
definitely. I'd love to see that. I don't know if I mean it sounds familiar. Like it sounds like we have talked about that. You have told me about it, but I don't
You
know
know
if
what
I've
I'm going
ever
to
seen
do?
it.
I'm going to take my headphones out, and I know exactly. It's right around the corner. I wore it the other day. I'm going to go grab it, and I'll
Go
bring it in,
grab it, please.
and I'll model it for you guys.
There you
I'll
go.
be right back.
And I have in terms of my stuff, I think my favorite Browns piece of apparel is probably um the the homage Browns game day starter jacket, the the sateen like the glimmering thin button up Browns jacket that's brown that says Browns on the front. So the people at Homage gave me one last year. And that was part of the whole arrangement. I was like, I will put your logo on my stuff. I will give away your shirts. I'll do all that, but I want one of those jerseys or one of those jackets. And they said, yep. Well, as soon as we get one in stock, give me your size and we'll send one out to you. And I felt bad because I was like, maybe we're not big enough to really justify them giving me such, so many things. And so I actually went out and I bought a second one of them and I gave it to my wife last year for Christmas. So my wife and I both have the Browns jacket. Oh, there it is. That's cool, man. Look at that.
Let me put my headphones back in. All right, here it is.
Dude, actually I think by the way, I was just saying it's cool.
It's
Here,
pretty
I'll show
cool.
you mine. I got mine in here. This is my favorite thing.
Oh,
The
I got that upstairs. That's in the jacket section of my closet.
Browns jacket.
I love that.
I don't know
You're
if
the
I'm
one that
showing
told
this right
me.
or not, but
Remember you told me they had him and I had to go get him.
Browns, there you go.
Oh, you don't have
This
your
is
headphones
it, and
in.
it's awesome. And inside it says, "If lost,
Love that.
return to the dog pound." Um, it's just awesome. Like, I love it, and I try to take really good care of it too. Um,
You told me about that. Remember? Then I went on and I bought one. I
oh, you
love that
have the
jacket
jacket?
too. Yeah, I
Oh,
I
it's
remember
fantastic.
we were talking about it. That just sounded like I scratched the record. Did you hear that? That was that was kind of cool. Um, yeah, you had bought it and you were like, "Hey, did you see they have the brown starter jacket at Homage?" And I'm like, "No." And then yeah, so I bought one, and I love that little label on the inside. If lost, please return to the
Yeah,
dog
it's
pound. Like,
freaking
how
awesome.
cool? How much cooler does that
It
get?
just adds a little personalized touch. Kind of
It
like the
really,
Baker's shirt that he had on, like "If lost, return to Cleveland,
yeah,
Ohio."
yep,
And it so that's probably my favorite thing that I own. Um, I've tried to go back and buy the old starter jackets that I had grown up on eBay, and I probably could if I continue looking for them. But I wear this one, and then my dad got me. He he went because it actually does get really cold here in Orlando because it's so humid that
yeah.
when it gets into the 40s, it feels like it's like zero. So I do wear them quite. It's 60 degrees. I got my jackets on because it's cold 60 degrees. And so my dad got me this. It's called Logo Athletic. It's a brand that only existed for a short period of time, but had an NFL license, and it was actually one of the Browns' assistant coaches was like this guy's son who had that jacket, and my dad got it on Facebook Marketplace up there in Delaware, and oh, there you go. Gary just bought the bat. Just boom.
Nice.
Gary's in for the merch purchase. It's the first time we've ever had a merch alert pop up. Gary Washington with the bat. Um,
Look, that's great.
yeah, it's awesome, right? Um,
That was awesome.
so my dad got me that jacket, and it is more of like the old school parka style,
Yeah.
but it's a pullover. Like for some reason in the early and mid '90s, like we liked our jackets to be pullover jackets, which is it's not easy to get in and out of the damn thing, but nonetheless it's there. Um, but you know what I really want, and I wish I could find one that was in like really good condition in my size.
Yeah.
The old, they were expensive sweatshirts back in the day. They might have been like 40 or $50, and back in the early '90s, like a $40 sweatshirt was like high end sweatshirt, right? Now $40 you get $40 to $60 sweatshirts all day long.
Yeah.
But in the early '90s, $35 to $40 was like kind of the premium price you could have for a sweatshirt. And it was the orange Browns sweatshirt that had kind of like Browns in cursive across the front
Yep.
that Belichick wore. And
Like
I think it was,
embroidered, right? It was
yeah,
embroidered
yeah,
on.
it was
Yeah.
like embroidered, some weird type of thing, like multi-layer of embroidery.
You know, it's
Um,
funny.
I
I
want
have
that one.
I have one similar to that, but I think it says it might say Browns across the top, and then
Mhm.
it's got the dog, but it's embroidered in it, and it's like a crew neck.
That's cool. Yeah, I want that one. Because I think I might have had it when I was a kid. I'm not 100% sure. There's a couple things I do remember having as a kid. The starter jackets, I had like three of those.
Yeah.
So I had starter jackets because I was growing, so I was getting bigger and I needed bigger jackets. Um, but where the merch link? The merch is it's just browniepostgame.com/merch. Or you go to browniepostgame.com on the top menu, it'll say merch. Philip. But yeah, I should probably put some more designs up there. I really do like the actual Brownie post game logo. It is my actual
I
dog.
do too. I
It
do too.
it's my dog. And when I went to create the logo, I was like, I want something that says Florida, says something to do with the Browns. That's not copy. It's not like Browns post game. It's Brownie post. So it's not like copyright infringement in any way. and then something Florida and something that's kind of dog related, like the Browns. And so I gave the artist on Fiverr, and it was a premium fiber job, and he came up with this, and we went through a couple iterations of what I wanted, and I actually sketched it out for him, like with horrible Photoshop sketching, and the guy came out with it, and I was like, dude, I love this. And then I took the same logo and gave it to an animator, and the animator came out with that whole thing where the sun rotates and then the two things come out and then the dog comes up and goes woof woof. Those are two separate projects, and man, that's Mike, that's what I want to do too next year, is pay that same animator to do some animation for the Wednesday show,
Yeah, that would be cool.
the logo, because as we have, here's the Wednesday show logo, as you can see there, which is, you know, it's Brownie Postgame. It's got the color combination in there, but I'm not a good designer, guys. I'm just
I
not.
do like the way you do how you have the Wednesday show. Like I think it's I don't know, it's cool looking. I like the way it pops like when I see it on Twitter or whatnot.
Yeah, it's like it's the Wednesday show.
Yeah, I mean you coined it. It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
I mean it's because what were we originally going to call it? Like Hump Day with the mics or
Yeah, hump
something
day
like
with the
that.
mics.
Yeah, and I was like, I think that's good. It says what it is, and it's the mic. It's very descriptive, and it's kind of funny. But I was like, I just refer to this as, and my wife is always like, hey, are you doing your Wednesday show
Right?
tonight? Because we kind of started it mid season,
Yep.
and I was like, yeah, we're doing the Wednesday show. So then it just became the
Are
Wednesday
we
show.
doing a Wednesday show?
It's like, are you guys? So what time is your Wednesday show? That's my wife. What time are you doing? What time are you doing the Wednesday show?
That's mine too. She's like, all right, tonight's the Wednesday show, right? So we got to figure out like I'll make dinner a little early or whatnot.
My wife is the same way. She's like, I'll have dinner ready. She usually does crock pots on Wednesday, so she doesn't have to like do anything. It's
Yeah,
in there all day cooking, and we have our, it's the Wednesday show.
it's the Wednesday show.
You
Can't
know,
beat it.
I
It's
think
like
the nice thing about the Wednesday show is that we can go off on random tangents and not just have to sit there and talk just about the Browns, because although
yeah,
we are Browns fans, but I think so. I used to be really into podcasts, like listening to podcasts back before YouTube Red and before like they had like internet was fast, basically, when
yeah.
the early days of the iPhone, so like 2008 to 2000, like 12, 13
Hmm.
time period, like when Joe Rogan was just starting out. I listened to a lot of podcasts because I used to do a lot of walking and then jogging, and
Yeah,
I listen to music. You only listen to music for so long, then you get into, you want to listen to talk. And so I got really into Joe Rogan. I had listened to like every Joe Rogan episode, every single one, up to like 700. And I even got to meet Joe Rogan one time after one of his shows, and we had talked a little bit on Twitter. This is before he blew up to become like what everybody knows Joe Rogan as. This was back in 2011,
yeah,
and met him and Brian Redband and Joey Diaz and all the guys on his show after his show in West Palm Beach. We stayed after and shook their hand and met them, and I was like, hey, I'm Mike. I'm the one who runs the White Castle fast food social media accounts and stuff like this. I
yeah.
was tweeting them, and yeah, so and I've listened to Brown's podcast as well, and oftentimes the thing that annoyed me about Brown's podcast is the bullshitting. It takes 20 minutes of like what we're doing right now, off topic of Browns,
Yep.
to get into the meat of like, I want to hear you talk about the fucking game.
Right.
Like,
Right.
I want to hear what your thoughts are on the game. I want you to tell me something that I haven't thought about. I want to have interesting dialogue back and forth about either the game that just happened, and not really focus too much on that, but really talk about the next game ahead, and just continue to fuel my, my fandom of the Browns. And so few of them operate within that model and that format that I was just like, I can't listen to these. I can't. And there's a billion Browns podcasts. Actually, before the Giants game, so we're gonna have a guy on.
Speaking of guys on, apparently, Mike, You just blew an interview with Jarvis Landry,
Yeah,
according to the chat.
this jar. I love this guy. This jar. Whoever this guy is who comes in here is like. It was Freddie Kitchens. It was John Dorsey. This week is
Yeah.
Jarvis Landry. I don't know if he thinks that I'm gonna be like, oh man, Jarvis Landry's in here. Oh man, like it's my first day on the internet. Um, I've been on the internet longer than a lot of people have been alive. I think I
isn't
think
that it's true?
I think my first time I dialed up in the internet was like 1987. I mean, we're talking like early phone on modem days.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna be tough to pull that one past me, Jarvis. But appreciate you being here, man. But anyway, what I was saying is the podcast. So I reached out to Blue Wire Pods.
Yep.
Kevin Jones is one of the owners. They actually got their Series A, so they got $5 million round of funding. And I said, hey, here's my analytics. I'm friends with Kevin. We go a couple years back, and talking to him about possibly taking this show, downloading it into audio only, and putting it up on Blue Wire. See what we have to do. I just want to limit it. I want to limit post production work.
Yeah.
Because
it sucks.
the and I'm glad I didn't do this. Do you remember? I don't know if you remember last time we were talking that I wanted to create a GIF or a meme, and it was a video based meme, and it was going to take me like at least 10 hours to do.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I was like, guys, it would have killed, but we ended up not winning, and I would have just sit there and been like, that time that I spent on that. That's why the hype videos work, because they're not post.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I try to limit that because I'm also helping out Cleveland Cam, this Twitch streamer.
Yep.
Or actually, he's on Facebook now. He's a Facebook gaming partnered streamer over there, and I'm helping him out with some production work. And it's just like between my job and Brownie Postgame and kids and family and stuff I do with Cleveland Cam, and then me. I mean, I game a lot too, so all the different moving parts. I got to limit post production. But if I can just download it and put it up and hand it over to them to put up or whatever. We'll see where we go.
Yeah.
Jason Kimball, Joe Woods is doing good is doing good enough for not having any preseason. Yeah, we were talking about that a little bit earlier. I agree. Anyway, Mike, we should probably wrap this up. I actually have a little bit of work to do. I have one more big meeting, and then I'm off for basically the rest of the year after tomorrow. So I got to do a little bit of work left tonight.
I'm counting it down too, my friend. Tomorrow, well, tomorrow, and then I'm.
Yeah, I have off on Friday.
On vacay. Yeah.
Yeah, same here. So. Maybe do. Somebody was saying something about Quincy. I gotta scroll back.
Do we know who won the mug? Mario G's asking if we know who won.
I think Mario G won, right?
Right. That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Mario G. I'm sorry, Mario. I should have given you more of it. I'm sorry, Mario. I think I did say it. I was like, oh, I think Mario won.
The ultimate suspense.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mario. You did win, Mario. Sorry, me. Mario, send me an email to browniepostgame@gmail.com with your address, please, and I will get you out. I will get that out to you tonight. However, keep in mind that Santino still has not gotten his from like 2 weeks ago. So I'm sorry, man. Like it might take a while, but I will give you a screenshot of the confirmation that I have bought it. And when they give me the tracking number, I'll give that to you as well if I can. So just hang tight. So Mario G, just send me your address, please. Give me your name, full name and address as well, so I can put that in there. browniepostgame@gmail.com. Simple dimple, right? browniepostgame@gmail.com. If you know Brownie Postgame, just add gmail.com at the end and you're good. You got it. So Giants week, man.
Yeah.
Giants week. Got to get to 10. We're going to have to get to 11. It's a minimum of 11, guys. I hate to say it, but if we win 10, this is 2007 all over again.
Yep.
We got to get to 11. Let's not take these two teams for granted. They can't. The Giants can win games. They can surprise people. And the Jets, they would want nothing else than to have their one game that they win against, a team that they can potentially keep out of the playoffs. With all this talent on this team. So that would be a big win for them, big moral victory for their season. So we can't overlook them. But yeah, guys. So, hey, let's all keep our heads up. I can officially say now that the Wednesday show is coming to an end that I am over the Ravens game. That's over and gone.
Nice.
No more,
No,
no
no more
more,
hangover.
no more pain. No more pain or anything like that. Moving on, and we're gonna take care of the Giants and the ghost of Cleveland Brown quarterbacks past with Colt McCoy.
Yeah. I got 38-10. That's what I'm going with.
You know, ooh, okay. Um, do you know what the over was, real quick? The over on the Ravens Brown game was like 42.
I know. And how about that safety?
I mean, but
Cost
hey,
some people some money.
probably did. Well, no, because I think the
It was 3, and then that made it 5.
hey Jones 24152 is asking where Ristano got his hat.
You know, it's funny because I put this on tonight because I felt that Baker is back to being dangerous. And I bought this hat his rookie year in the pro shop at the stadium.
You know, it's funny you have the dangerous hat, and you know when I was creating my dad's
Can you see
online,
it? The
uh,
sides.
yeah, that's a cool hat, man.
And then on the back it says, "Are you feeling dangerous?" Or I woke up feeling dangerous. I think.
I love it.
Yeah.
My every time I see that, if you go to my dad, brownie post underscore Dan on Twitter, and you look at his Twitter header, it's the dangerous, and
Yeah.
like because I was gonna make him dangerous because when I see it, it just says Dan 6 Urus,
That's
and I was
great.
like, but you're gonna be dangerous Dan, and I was like, no, that's kind of cheesy, dangerous
That's
Dan.
like what was dastardly what was his name? The guy with the little mustache
I don't know.
from the cartoons. I can't think of his name. Dastardly something or other.
Well, that's what I was afraid of, though. I didn't want to like cartoon my dad and be
Right.
like, all right, so now next up we got Bonzo 1273, Mike Sanzo, and we have dangerous Dan
Dangerous
Killy is joining it. No, I didn't want to do that to him.
Dan.
So it's he's just. But every time I
Oh,
see it,
making his
I
way
see the
into the ring
Dan.
anyway.
I see the dangerous because it's just Dan
Right.
6,
Oh, that's so funny.
and so yeah. So Jones says that hat's legit.
Thank
Um,
you. They
appreciate
probably
that. I
still
actually
have.
do like that.
Yeah, they probably still have them. Give the pro shop a call and just ask for it. And I don't know if you're in Cleveland or not, but regardless, I'll see something, maybe that I saw on the the shop online or whatever, and that I didn't see anymore, and I'll give them a call and say, hey, do you have this shirt or this hat that looks like X, Y, and Z? And yeah, like a couple times they're like, oh yeah, we have that. I'm like, can you send me a small in that or this hat or whatever? And they're great. Speaking, I mean, right now we're going through this whole postal, delay and all that. But
Mhm.
but usually you call them up if they have it, they'll pop. You pay for it right there. They'll pop it in the mail like that day, and literally 3 days later, 2 days later, it's at your door.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I think that's one of the things I like the most is that every time I see something cool, I'll like send you a text, be like, hey man, are you gonna get this or not? And I think like last year it was the shoes. Remember the shoes?
Yeah,
And I was like, are you getting the shoes? And you're like, I
yeah.
already got them. I was like, then I'm
And I've
in.
never I've never worn them.
Yeah, I know you
They're
said that.
they're
You
in
got
my
like, getting.
closet.
I wear them all the time. I wear them all the time because they're nice. They're brown. They're brown shoes. So they're kind of. I've worn those shoes to client meetings.
That's great.
I have like a nice button down business casual shirt and jeans and stuff like that, and
Yeah,
brown shoes
brown
because they're
shoes.
brown. People don't, they don't think to look that you're not wearing like business casual shoes.
Do you
Uh,
do you want to know? I'll leave you with this. This is the type of disease I have when it comes to buying merch,
okay.
or I should say, so I have to have all the on-field shit every year: the hats, the sweatshirts, the pants, you name it. So I literally have pants and sweatshirts that are still in the bags, literally, and I just found. Did you ever see the? Maybe I'll wear it on the show next week. But it's the Jarvis used to wear it all the time to his pressers last year. It was the orange Vaporfly pullover
Hmm.
with the helmet up in the corner. It's one of my favorite pieces. But the Vaporfly, like the vest that you'll see them warming up in with the hood, and they'll wear
Yes.
like a shirt or a t-shirt under it.
Yep.
I found one of those on eBay the other day. It was after the game. It was after the game, and I was pissed, and I couldn't go to sleep, and I was searching on eBay for different stuff, and yeah, I found one, and I'm like buying it. So if the mail ever doesn't get delayed, that'll be coming here soon, and I'll have to wear that on the show too.
Dude,
But yeah,
definitely. You know what else
I,
is on eBay right now? Every once in a while I'll go look for like vintage Brown stuff. You can buy 3 or 4 of the Browns Municipal Stadium seats.
you know what? Did you see the ones on there that they're you have to pick up in Cleveland? They're like, I think it was like $4.99. It was like a nice. It was almost like I think it was 2 seats or 3 seats.
There's one up there right now. Let me go. I'm gonna double check if it's still there.
Let's put it this way:
eBay.
if I was going to the games this year, and there was no COVID, I even had Laura's blessing. Like we were going to stop in Cleveland, and we were going to pick them up, throw them in the back. I have a seat, like the that you actually sat on, like just the part that that comes up and down.
Yeah,
I do have a piece of I do have that from that stadium, but
the
I
actual
don't have the
chair.
seats. Yeah, and you know what's funny too, Mike, is there's a guy on there. I don't know if he's still on there, and I was going to do that as well. He has a dog pound row
Ooh.
that I thought, man, like that's so great. I got my tickets in the pound. I could have, that'd be a nice piece to put down in the basement, but it's all, it's all pickup, and I get it because I mean it probably cost an arm and a leg to ship, but
I don't see the chair. I don't see the seats on here anymore.
are they off?
Somebody might have got. Let me look to like sold items. Well, okay, so there's got to be somewhere because maybe I was typing the wrong thing. There was one Browns Cleveland Municipal Stadium seat that sold for $4.99, and then back in November 24th, and then another one sold October 5th for $3.79, and
Oh,
they
they
shipped
shipped it.
they shipped both of them. The $4.99 was shipped free, and the 379 one cost $89 to ship.
I might have done it
Oh,
when
here
I
it is. Here
saw
it
it.
is. Here it is. The Cleveland. They're still there. Cleveland Municipal Stadium rare set of three Indians Browns, $849. Local pickup.
Yeah, the local pickup will get you every freaking time.
I'm gonna put it in the chat for everybody, so you guys can see which one I'm talking about. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I just found it. Hey, that's funny. I was looking for the bleacher ones, and I just saw the ones that you were talking about.
Yeah. So I don't know if this link is actually gonna go through or not.
Hey, check these ones out
Too
too. I
big.
saw these, and I was like, again, local pickup. But let me see if can you see that?
Yeah. Yeah. Are those legit?
Yeah, those are club seats,
Wow. Yeah.
which are cool.
These ones look like they're. I mean, they're chair. Like they're so the seats that I used to always sit in a municipal stadium. I always was in the upper deck. I never
Yeah.
sat down below, and they were just benches. Like they were just like the old school bench. I don't think there were actual seats. I could
Hmm.
be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they were just a bench that went across that had a number like painted on it. But these seats, how do I share this? Like, how do I share it that's not like the. It's pretty ridiculous, eBay. eBay, you sons of bees.
Now I'm curious if that no, I think they might have sold.
Okay, let me see. It looks like I can tweet it out. I can steal the I could steal the link from the tweet. Boom. Here we go, guys.
And then I'll let you go because I know you got some stuff to do.
There we go. There's the link. I'll put it on Twitch too. There you go. There's the link, guys, on Twitch. Yeah, but I mean, dude,
Oh,
$849 to own a piece of history. How much were those club seats? $1,200.
Yep. And then here's the see the pound.
That's the dog pound, actual
Yep.
dog pound bench.
Yep. I was talking to the guy, and I think he was because I told him, I'm like, look, can you move off that price a little bit? I'll be driving a little ways, and he was like, no, price is firm. But I mean, I guess that's
How much
why
was it?
$5.99.
It's tough to negotiate off of something that's like really like a unique item.
Yeah.
You know, like if it was just like a Baker Mayfield signed mini helmet, you know,
Somebody bought
like
it. Yeah, it looks
somebody
like somebody bought it. Yep.
somebody bought it. Oh yeah.
And I mean, it's really cool, but is it $600 cool, or would you rather have the municipal stadium seats?
Well, I mean, you think about this, like if you go and buy just a regular love seat for your living room, like a
Yeah.
decent love seat, not like a Walmart grade thing or starter home type, but like a decent lazy
Like
boy.
lazy boy,
You're spending $600,
yeah.
you know? I'm looking at these seats and I'm like, they're in rough shape. But I mean, that's kind of like the thing about it. You want them in the original shape too, right?
Yeah.
You don't want them like, sanded down and repainted.
Yeah, you
Because
want the
these
real
things,
deal.
yeah, these things might have been painted 5 or 6 times in their life. You want the original stuff.
I gotta tell
And
you, speaking of original stuff, the one that I have, that's just the seat portion. There's
Mhm.
like there's gum stuck under there. Like it's legit.
yeah, that's a piece of history, man.
Right.
I mean, these chairs, who knows? They could have been chairs from 1937.
Yeah.
And they're just that. I mean, and the fact that they even exist. I mean, yeah, the paint's all chipping off of them and stuff, but the fact that they're still like in, honestly, I'm sure you could sit in them,
Yeah.
you know,
Absolutely.
in working order, is pretty amazing. Like I would see them and I would put them outside, out in my back, like, in my pool area, and those would be the seats I would sit in, as I'm like the kids are in the pool and I'm like watching the kids or something like that. I would sit in
Yeah.
those chairs. But I mean, I can't expect somebody to want to like you can't ship that.
No.
That'd be $500 to ship it.
Yeah. Easy.
Maybe not 500, but I mean, depending upon how you were doing it, and
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in order
at least
to
200 to ship it
oh yeah, to ensure that
because of the
nothing's gonna
weight.
break or yeah. I mean, how much
Yeah,
would that weigh? I mean, those are heavy.
yeah. I mean, it's like iron.
And I
You
gotta tell
know,
you, just the part that your ass sits on is heavy.
yeah, just the wood.
Yeah.
Um, I would just, and I'm sure they're legit. I'm sure that they're
Oh
not
yeah.
like they weren't pulled out of some high school that was like. They definitely look like 1937 chairs, and you could
Yeah.
tell that there's different layers of paint on them too. Like there's a little green under there, and
Oh
then,
yeah.
like obviously they're yellow, and all the rusted iron that's on the outside, or maybe it's steel. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean that to me is pretty damn cool. But I mean, I remember when the stadium was getting torn apart. How much of that stuff was probably available if you just would have gone down to the
Yeah.
demolition site and just picked it up
Picked it
and
up.
then held it for you know 30 years and make $1,000. I mean, who knows? But I'd break a $20 mug within a week.
Huh.
uh, it's fun, that. And the last thing, guys. The mug that we have, my wife always drinks out of the mug. She's a warm coffee drinker, and so she drinks out of and she only drinks out of it when we win. So she's true to it as well. She only
Nice.
drinks out of it when we win, and but it's a cool mug, man. Like honestly, like I can, Mike. I think you were really you know, and obviously the show has helped, and you know my tweets and stuff like. But you were
Yeah.
the original guy that pushed the mug,
Yeah.
because I mean, you've probably been involved with Brown's Twitter longer than I have. I can probably safely say that, because
Yeah.
I only really started getting into it, you know, like a year and a half ago. Right when Odell came to the Browns is when I started
Yeah.
really pushing full forward when this channel started.
Yep.
Not that I wasn't a fan, I just wasn't really into Browns Twitter.
Yeah.
And so I don't know did you ever see any, like, we weren't really winning games though, so like it
No.
wasn't a whole lot of opportunities to do it, but I can't think of anybody else. I just would always see you with it, and I
Yeah.
was like, I need to get that mug. I finally need to get the mug. And
Yeah,
I bought my dad one too.
Yeah, I never saw anybody with it, and the only reason I stumbled across it was, you know, I'm a big supporter of you know, GV artwork and Cleveland Clo, and you know, I try and buy, you know, stuff from the, you know, the Cleveland you know, spots, and I literally was just you know, on their site looking at T-shirts and stuff, and I you know, I happened to go to the accessories, and there it was.
Um,
I'm like, shit, I gotta buy this. And I remember Laura saying, well, what are you gonna buy that for? You never drink out of it. And she was right for a little while.
Yeah, it's a good point. But now, 9 times this year, man. I mean, earlier this year, it was like, you know, we would talk about it as happiness weeks.
Yeah.
And, you know, to say that 9 weeks so far this year and potential to be double-digit weeks of joy.
I got it, Mike.
Special time, man. Special times.
For me to be drinking out of the red Solo cup tonight and not the Victory Wednesday mug,
Yeah.
I mean, it
Hurts a little, right?
it hurts. 4 weeks in a row I've been drinking out of that thing. So
I mean, honestly, think about that too. How many winning streaks? We've had winning streaks.
Yeah.
That have been like, okay, I mean, I can't wait to go back to the season, and what I want to do is create a video at the end of the season about like some of the highlight moments from, you know, from the Wednesday show, or even from some of our pre and post game shows about like, we're gonna beat the Ravens, you know, like, it's gonna be 40-12.
Oh
You know,
man, that first, you know, and I know we got to get out of here, but I'll never forget that first game when we were just like, oh, we're gonna win, whatever, and your guest that you had on at the time was looking at us like we had four heads.
Yeah, Steve Sullivan,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
He's
like we had
"You
four heads.
guys-"
Like, these, look at these assholes. Like, are they serious? And then
Yeah.
we just got our doors blown off.
God, the still, it's not as bad as Tennessee though. Tennessee was like that set off a chain of events that didn't break all year.
Yeah,
And that was a humiliating, because I remember I woke up in the morning and I tweeted out, I was like, Dad, we've been made fun of for 20 years and that all ends today. And then it was like, nope, same old Browns. Same old Browns. But
same old.
you know what? I think that you noticed, remember you tweeted to me like Colin Cowherd, we're watching the Browns shrink before our very eyes and that kind of thing.
Yep.
And then the Browns did not give up.
Nope.
And you know, that when he went back on his show today and was talking about the Browns, I saw the clip on YouTube. You know, he does his usual jabs at us, but not, it was almost in like I got to be a little bit careful because, you know, I do have a professional reputation. I don't want to come across as like a hater.
Yeah.
He tries to tell it as he sees it. He's not always right. And you know, when he's wrong, sometimes he admits it. And until we do it, until we actually win the AFC North convincingly, and get into the playoffs and maybe even win a Super Bowl, that's going to be the only time where we can shut everybody up, is winning the whole damn thing. You know, so it's cool taking baby steps and getting closer. And I don't consider this year a baby step. I consider this year a giant step forward.
Yeah.
It was only a couple years ago, guys, that we didn't win a game, that we were the New York Jets. And we followed it up with one win? it's only a couple years ago. We have to have short memories, guys.
Yeah.
And now we're sitting at a. It doesn't matter if we lose every game from here on out and miss the playoffs. We are not losers, and there's nothing anybody can say to take that away.
Yeah.
It
true.
doesn't matter. So, all right, guys. Appreciate everybody being with us. Congratulations, Mario G, for winning the mug. And yeah, we'll be back. We're gonna go live probably around 6 o'clock on Sunday night. We might do an early pregame, like a pre-pregame show Sunday if I get motivated to do that. I probably will be because I'll be stir crazy after being off from work Friday and Saturday. I'll probably be like, I gotta go live, I gotta do something. So I'll probably do that, and so figure, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel, and subscribe to us on Twitch too if you happen to be there. I know not everybody has Twitch, but if you go over to Twitch, that'd be awesome as well. Maybe what I should start doing is start incentivizing the audience. Be like, I don't want to take away the mug drawing from from everybody, but maybe if I come up with something that it's the Twitch exclusive giveaway that only the 2 people that are on Twitch get a chance to watch, to start bringing some people over there. We'll think about that. No promises yet, but 6 o'clock. Garrett, definitely 6 o'clock. We're talking Browns on Sunday, and then we're going to do the post game show. It's going to be it'll be a real late night on Sunday. However, I'm off all week next week, so I could stay up till 2 a.m. and go nuts with you guys. Nice. My dad probably won't make it that long. And Mike, if you're around, you're welcome, as always, to join whenever you want. Literally, just be like, hey, I'm popping on. Boom, I got you. So, all right, guys. S. Zuban, Sabo shirt looks legit. Browns gear, but aren't quite. They skirt around the Browns look, but they look. Yeah, they don't have the license. Like this is just Clee with kind of like some of the Browns stuff. It's expensive to get the NFL license, guys. I mean, they're taking away probably like, maybe 50% of your of the cost of the product in license fees. It's just like, it's not really worth. Homage does the same thing. This shirt here, Dogs Gotta Eat, Cleveland, from Homage. I mean, there's nothing Browns about it. It's just like kind of Browns oriented. It is what it is. All right, guys. Appreciate everybody here. I appreciate you all. And, again, thanks to Mike Ristano for joining us, as always, on the Wednesday show.
Wednesday is here. Wednesday's gone. And here comes Sunday night. So let's get the W and come back with 10 wins.
Let's do it. All right, guys. Everybody, see you Sunday.
See you guys.
Go Browns.
Go Browns.